Chapter 225. Don't let the riches flow into others' fields. One Lu Miaohuan embraced Lu Changsheng for a moment before immediately snapping back to reality. Only then did she remember she was in Lu Changsheng's home, and there were so many people watching. Moreover, these people were all Lu Changsheng's wives and concubines. She had actually thrown herself into Lu Changsheng's arms in front of his wives and concubines. Even though Lu Miaohuan was usually bold and carefree, indifferent to others' gazes, at that moment she couldn't help but blush profusely, covering her face as she ran off. Lu Changsheng watched Lu Miaohuan hurry away, caught off guard. Soon after, he shook his head and smiled wryly. He also roughly understood what was going on. She must have thought he was in grave danger when he went to lure away the robber cultivator. Hearing of his safe return, she must have been so agitated to see him alive. "Sister Miaoga, I've made you worry." At that moment, Lu Changsheng turned to look at not far away, at the eldest lady draped in white, surpassing the purity of snow, her figure slender and graceful, smiling as he spoke. Since Lu Miaoga had come along with Lu Miaohuan, she must be aware of the robber cultivator incident and was worried about him as well. "It's good that you're all right." Seeing Lu Changsheng unharmed, Lu Miaoge's heart was filled with immense joy. Yet, even with such happiness in such a situation, she wouldn't act like her sister Lu Miaohuan and throw herself at Lu Changsheng. She just smiled softly and spoke in a gentle voice. Her beautiful, unadorned face, as splendid as morning glow on snow, was exceptionally stunning. Lu Miaoyun, Chu Jinjin, and the other women saw Lu Miaohuan embrace their husband and cover her face as she ran off. Then they saw their husband and the eldest lady smiling and talking to each other, one gentle and genial as if bathed in the spring breeze, the other pure and ethereal, as elegant as an immortal. Watching them, they felt an indescribable sense of perfect harmony. "Since you're all right, I'm relieved. We'll go check on Huan." Lu Miaoga didn't stay for long. With this situation, and Lu Changsheng's many wives and concubines here, she felt quite uncomfortable and a bit out of place. Especially in the presence of Lu Miaoyun, she felt a sense of guilt and inadequacy. Typically, she hardly dared to meet Lu Miaoyun, and it was only because she was worried about Lu Changsheng that she had taken the initiative to come over. "Sister Miaoga, let me walk you out." Lu Changsheng, seeing her reaction, quickly stepped forward and said. Lu Miaoga intended to say it wasn't necessary, but seeing Lu Changsheng already walking over to her, she pursed her lips lightly and said nothing. "Sister Miaoga, have you recovered?" Lu Changsheng asked casually. Initially, under his treatment, Lu Miaoge's life had been stabilized, but her injuries were severe and she needed recuperation. She returned to recover. "It's almost completely healed," Lu Miaoga said softly. "That's good then." Lu Changsheng nodded. There was a silence between them. As they left the back courtyard and reached the front courtyard, Lu Changsheng grasped Lu Miaoge's hand and said, "Sister Miaoga, I've missed you." Lu Miaoge's hand was clasped by Lu Changsheng. Hearing these words, she suddenly stiffened, her heart fluttering. She also felt shy, fearing that this scene was seen by others. "Sister Miaoga, did you miss me?" Lu Changsheng looked at Lu Miaoge's ears, which were slightly tinged with red, and leaned in to ask. Lu Miaoge's cheeks flushed red, and after a moment, she whispered, "I missed you too. I'm going to check on Huan." She then wriggled out of Lu Changsheng's grasp and quickly left, looking somewhat flustered. Watching Lu Miaoge's retreating figure, Lu Changsheng shook his head slightly and chuckled, returning to the back courtyard. Just as he returned to the back courtyard, he saw Lu Miaoyun, Chu Jinjin, and the rest of his wives and concubines looking at him with faces full of curiosity and gossip. "I ran into a little accident on the way back from Nine Dragons Market, making the second young lady believe I was in trouble, which is why she was so excited upon knowing I returned." Lu Changsheng cleared his throat and explained to his wives. "Oh, so that's what happened." Chu Jinjin showed a suddenly enlightened expression, yet her teasing smile clearly showed disbelief. "It's fine, husband. Since there are already so many sisters at home, Why not marry Sister Miaoga and Sister Miaohuan too? Lu Miaoyun spoke up, her lips curling into a light smile. As the official wife, she had come to terms with Lu Changsheng's practice of taking more wives and concubines. Thinking of how Lu Changsheng always brings women home, it might be better to marry both Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaohuan. After all, it meant keeping the wealth within the family. Moreover, she knew that her husband wanted to have children with good spiritual roots. And both Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaohuan had middle-grade spiritual roots. If they bore children, the chances of having offspring with middle-grade spiritual roots in the future were quite high. What are you talking about? Although Lu Changsheng did harbor such thoughts, he obviously couldn't agree outright at that moment. Husband, I'm serious, Lu Miaoyun said with a tinge of coyness. Yes, Sister Yun is right. Every time I see husband and Sister Miaoga together, I feel they are an excellent match, Chu Xinjin chimed in. Well now, to think that you're making fun of me. It seems you all haven't had a proper family rule to follow for quite some time, Lu Changsheng said, feeling a warm flush inside, thinking of how thoughtful and considerate his young wife was. As he was about to apply a family rule to his wives, the fourth elder arrived. Grandmother, grandmother. Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoyun both tidied their clothes a bit and came out to greet her. Chu Xinjin and the other women also followed suit, greeting her with respect. Changsheng, I'm relieved that you're all right, said the fourth elder, who had also heard that Lu Changsheng had returned and came over to check. Seeing that Lu Changsheng was fine, she too felt relieved. With Lu Miaoyun and all the other women present, she didn't inquire into how Lu Changsheng had escaped being pursued. She simply chatted for a while and then went to see the grandchildren. On a mountain peak thousands of miles away from Nine Dragons Market. What's going on? It's been 2 days already. Why haven't they arrived? Could something have happened? Does the Lu family secretly have a master hidden among them? Chapter 226. Don't let the riches flow into others' fields. A man in black with a mask, his breath somewhat disordered, murmured to himself. He thought of how his 3 companions had only been pursuing a few juniors from the Lu family, and if it hadn't been for an accident, it would have been impossible for them not to arrive at the designated meeting place after 2 days. Having waited until nightfall without seeing a trace of his companions, the masked man decided not to wait any longer. He took out a set of clothes from his storage bag to change his appearance. Transforming into a burly man with a square face wearing a purple robe, he piloted a flying artifact towards the Nine Dragons marketplace. The next day, family head Lu Yuanding and others called Lu Changsheng over and inquired about the situation. Lu Changsheng had long thought of an explanation for his narrow escape. He claimed that he had come across a body-protecting talisman at the marketplace for Lu's cultivators. It was with this talisman that he had managed to escape death by using an escape talisman. After listening to his story, Lu Yuanding and the others were somewhat surprised, but did not ask too many questions. After all, there was no need to investigate such matters too deeply. Regardless of the truth, what Lu Changsheng had done was for the Lu family, and he deserved praise. Changsheng, your actions are indeed commendable. The family will remember this and reward you with 1,000 family contribution points. However, you must not take such risks in the future, Lu Yuanding said. His gaze towards Lu Changsheng carried a hint of admiration. In his impression, Lu Changsheng had always been a cautious and steady man. But this time, he had shown a daring spirit and the poise of a great general. This altered his impression of Lu Changsheng. He couldn't help but feel that during his initial visit to the Qingyun sect to seek a son-in-law, he had managed to bring back such an outstanding individual. Thank you, family head, Lu Changsheng said with a slight bow. 1,000 contribution points were equivalent to 1,000 spirit stones. Moreover, using contribution points to purchase items within the Lu family was like getting a discount of 20 to 30% off the external market price. Thus, this reward was quite significant. Changsheng, as you know the family's current situation, will need you to draw more talismans in the coming time. Rest assured, you'll earn 10% more contribution points for the talismans you draw during this period, continued Lu Yuanding. Understood, family head, Lu Changxing replied with a bow. For him, with a second-rank talisman-making skill and a 100% success rate in talisman crafting, drawing a few extra was no problem. That's all, then. Is there anything you want to ask? Lu Yuanding spoke. Family head, how long will this assembly of clan members last? Should I avoid going out during this time? Lu Changxing asked. It had been a year since he had sent his wife, concubines, kids, Lu Lanshu, and Lu Pingon to the ordinary world. He hadn't yet had the chance to visit them even once. Therefore, Lu Changsheng also wanted to make a trip to check on his family. Moreover, he had recently received a letter from Hong Yi. It said Xia Zhaoyang had a 4th-grade spiritual root. Having passed the Qingyun sect's examination, he had successfully been accepted into the sect. At the same time, the cultivator behind the annihilation of Chu Zenshin's whole family had been investigated. It was a Qi refinement 5th-layer cultivator. Hong Yi and Li Feiyu had taken him into custody directly and imprisoned him in the Rui Marquis mansion, waiting for Lu Changxing's disposition. Therefore, Lu Changxing planned to take Chu Zhenjin with him on a trip to the ordinary world. The time could be as short as 2 to 3 months, or as long as around a year. As for going out, if there's no emergency or important matter, you should stay in Qingzhou Mountain for the time being, Lu Yuanding said after a moment of thought. 2 to 3 months, or as long as a year, Lu Changxing nodded slightly and said, There's nothing urgent. I just wanted to visit the children I sent to the ordinary world. Since it's not something urgent or significant, you should stay put for the time being, Lu Yuanding said. Yes, family head. Lu Changxing nodded his head again, not questioning any further, and took his leave. He had a nagging feeling that the Lu family's move to recall all its members wasn't just because of the Chun family's attack. It was as if they were preparing some major move. Otherwise, why call everyone back when a Lu family ancestor was on the brink of death? Shouldn't the family members scatter and lie low to preserve their bloodline? Without speculating further, Lu Changsheng left the Great Hall. After this is over, I can talk to Lu Changsheng about Huaner. I wonder whether he will agree this time. Lu Yuanding watched Lu Changsheng's retreating figure, his thoughts turning to his daughter as he let out a sigh. He had seen how his daughter had lost her appetite and spirit these past few days. He knew his daughter's heart was set on Lu Changsheng, determined to marry no one else. He didn't mind the issue of Lu Changsheng having multiple wives and concubines. As for marrying Lu Miaohuan to Lu Changsheng, he wasn't against it. After all, in his view, aside from the many wives and children, Lu Changsheng was an excellent candidate in every aspect. Marrying Lu Miaohuan to him would also be a good choice. But the current problem was, while his daughter was willing and wanted to get married, it still depended on Lu Changsheng's agreement. He certainly couldn't beg Lu Changsheng, could he? Sigh. Thinking this, Lu Yuanding sighed again. He felt as a father, he was truly anxious. Lu Changsheng, just as Lu Changsheng had not walked too far from the estate, he heard a pleasing and engaging voice. Turning his head, he saw the second young miss, Lu Miaohuan, waving and quickly approaching him. Today, she was wearing a dark black dress embroidered with gold thread. Her curvaceous figure was perfectly outlined by the fitted dress, graceful and undulating. Chapter 227. Don't let the riches flow into others' fields. A pair of full and straight beautiful legs were faintly visible beneath the hem of her dress, wrapped in thin, black silk stockings, sensual and inviting. On her feet were a pair of black high heels with slender heels and golden patterns. This outfit bore some resemblance to the clothes Lu Changsheng had first seen Lu Miaohuan wearing. Only now, comparatively speaking, the dress had become much more conservative. It did not reveal her pale, round shoulders and delicate clavicles. Second Mississippi. Lu Changsheng looked at Lu Miaohuan and said, Lu Changsheng, here are your talismans. We didn't use them last time. Lu Miaohuan was holding a stack of talismans, taking small steps, her high heels clacking click-clack-click. This sound of footsteps was somehow lighter and more brisk than usual. Thank you for going out of your way to bring them over. Lu Changsheng glanced at them and said with a smile, It's no trouble. Lu Miaohuan shook her head with a slight blush on her cheeks. Then she said softly, "Thank you for before." "Thank me for what?" Lu Changsheng looked at the second miss, who was originally proud and aloof, now frequently blushing, and felt somewhat emotional. He still preferred her look of noble coolness. "For what happened on the way back." "Lu Changsheng, why did you step off the flying boat at that time? Didn't you know it was dangerous? Aren't you afraid of death?" Lu Miaohuan asked. "I knew, and I was afraid," Lu Changsheng said casually. "If you were scared, why did you still do it? It was so dangerous." Lu Miaohuan kept asking. Although Lu Changsheng was fine now, she still felt terrified when she thought back to that moment. She had no idea how Lu Changsheng managed to escape death. At that time, it was necessary to draw one person away. Otherwise, we all would have been in danger. And I felt I was the most suitable, so I stood up. Otherwise, if we had kept delaying, what if you, second miss, were to run into danger? Lu Changsheng looked at the second miss and teased her with a laugh. Lu Miaohuan, seeing his narrow smile and joking tone, knew he was intentionally teasing her. But she also felt that Lu Changsheng was deliberately telling the truth in a joking manner. "If the second miss feels moved, you could give me a hug like yesterday to express your gratitude," Lu Changsheng said with a near smile, looking at Lu Miaohuan's expression. "Dream on." Lu Miaohuan, recalling her embarrassing behavior from the day before, huffed cutely and turned to leave. But after a few steps, she suddenly turned around and hugged Lu Changsheng. "Is this good enough?" Just as Lu Changsheng was about to say something, in that moment his body couldn't help but stiffen slightly, because he saw family head Lu Yuanding just coming out. Lu Miaohuan saw Lu Changsheng fall silent. She turned her head too, and immediately saw her father. Instantly, she felt a wave of embarrassment. She hadn't expected her father to witness her hugging Lu Changsheng, and she immediately let go of him, hanging her head. "It seems my earlier concerns were unnecessary." Lu Yuanding, seeing the scene, shook his head slightly and pretended not to have seen it, turning back around. He had not expected his daughter's relationship with Lu Changsheng to have progressed to this extent. At the same time, he felt that Lu Changsheng was not as simple as he appeared. "It's all your fault." Lu Miaohuan, seeing her father pretending not to have seen and turning back, told Lu Changsheng a bit irritably. She didn't dare say much more to Lu Changsheng and hurried home. "P.S. I'm very sleepy. We'll make up the word count during the day. Alas, I don't really like writing this kind of plot either. You probably find it stiff, and I'm struggling over every word. But it feels like, even as an emotionless sewing machine, the story has come to this point, and it's inevitable for the two sisters to wrap things up, so I have to write a bit." Chapter 228. The New Foundation Establishment Great Cultivator to Battle. _1. To be caught by the family head. That's really... As Lu Changsheng walked back, he thought about how he had just been held by Lu Miaohuan when Lu Yuanding appeared, and he couldn't help but shake his head and sigh. However, he didn't feel embarrassed at all. Nowadays, the second Miss temperament has also improved somewhat. Lu Changsheng was also somewhat confident that he could handle the second Mississippi. In such a situation, he could also consider taking the second Miss back to his family. So, being seen was just being seen. He would just treat it as giving his future father-in-law some mental preparation in advance. Speaking of which, should I let the family head unintentionally see me with the eldest miss someday, to give him a bit of mental preparation? Lu Changsheng couldn't help but think to himself. But as soon as the thought arose, he felt it was better to put it on hold for now. Otherwise, he was really afraid that Lu Yuanding would chop him up with a sword. After all, no father could stand it if one man snatched away both daughters he had raised. But there's still a long way to go. Thinking of the eldest Miss' current situation, Lu Changsheng shook his head. It seemed that taking both sisters back to his family wouldn't be so simple. There's a saying, let things flow naturally when the boat reaches the pier, so Lu Changsheng didn't think much about it and went home. In the following days, Lu Changsheng still spent his days cultivating, making talismans, and spending time with his wives and concubines. In his spare time, He also used his skills in puppetry to create simple wooden oxen and horses, mechanical men, and mechanical beasts as toys for the children. This was also a way to let people know that he had dabbled into some puppetry skills. Seeing the children's love for the toys made with puppetry, Lu Changsheng suddenly thought of a saying: "Interest is the best teacher for a child." He then thought he could perhaps stimulate the children's interest in puppetry through this approach. If the children had some talent in puppetry, they could then be trained towards becoming puppet masters. Although puppetry wasn't as esteemed as other skills like alchemy, formation, equipment, and talisman making, it was nevertheless considered a decent skill. And for children without a spiritual root, having some knowledge in puppetry, when venturing into the mortal world, would certainly be a useful skill. They could create things like wooden oxen and horses, wooden birds, mechanical beasts, armillary spheres, earthquake instruments, among other mechanisms. Straight away, whenever Lu Changsheng had free time, he would work with the children to create some simple mechanical toys, and he would explain some knowledge related to puppetry. In the blink of an eye, more than half a month passed. During these times, Lu family disciples continually returned to Qingzhou Mountain. Lu Changxing heard from Lu Miaoyun that quite a few Lu family disciples had been attacked and killed on their way back. Moreover, due to the summoning of the family's disciples, many of the Lu family's territories had been encroached upon by the Qin family. Like the Spirit Stone mine that was contested between the Lu family and the Chun family, it was now under the control of the Chun family. During this period, some of the Lu family's guest elders also chose to leave the family. Lu Changsheng saw all this happen and knew it was inevitable. After all, to most people in the current struggle between the Lu family and the Chun family, it was clear that the Chun family had the upper hand. Once the Lu family ancestor died, the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain would essentially be extinct in name and in reality. As an ordinary guest elder, it was natural not to want to share in the family's resources and rise or fall with the Lu family. If he wasn't so deeply tied to the Lu family with so many wives and children, even Lu Changsheng would choose to leave. But Lu Changsheng always felt that this wave of summoning all the clan members back wasn't so simple. Otherwise, he really couldn't understand what was the point of gathering all the clan members. It certainly wasn't just to defend Qingzhou Mountain, or to fight a decisive battle with the Chun family, right? This kind of act was completely against the logic of the cultivation world. There's a saying, if you preserve the people but lose the land, both will eventually be lost. If you preserve the land but lose the people, both will eventually be preserved. For a cultivation family like the Lu family, what should be done at this time is to preserve their strength. Wait for a new foundation establishment, great cultivator, to emerge. Not to defend Qingzhou Mountain or struggle for immediate benefits, potentially sacrificing the entire family. Before he knew it, 3 months had passed. Because of the current situation of the Lu family and the need to consider fleeing with his wives and children at any moment, Lu Changsheng did not let his wives and maids conceive during these times. After all, it would be quite troublesome if the Lu family crisis happened just as a child was being born, or if his wives were all pregnant at that time. Thinking that the situation of the Lu family would last for some time, Lu Changsheng decided to postpone having more children for a while, and he let his wives and maids have a good rest. The absence of new birth for such a long time made Lu Miaoyun, Chu Jinjin, and the other wives feel that something wasn't right, and they asked Lu Changsheng what was going on. If not for the fact that Lu Changsheng was still vigorous and passionate every night, it would be difficult for him to explain. On this day, Lu Bo came to Lu Changsheng's residence. He said that the family head had summoned all Lu family disciples to gather at the central plaza of Qingzhou Mountain. All Lu family disciples gathering. Lu Bo, has something happened? Lu Changsheng asked. He had been in Qingzhou Mountain for 10 years now. He had never encountered such an event. He couldn't help but speculate whether the Lu family was preparing for a major battle with the Chun family or planning a mass relocation away from Qingzhou Mountain. I'm not sure about the details. I'm just relaying the message. You'll know when to get there, Lu Bo said. All right. Upon hearing this, Lu Changsheng didn't ask any further questions. He walked towards the central plaza of Qingzhou Mountain with Lu Miaowan. Upon arrival at the central plaza, Lu Changsheng saw the many Lu family disciples and guest elders gathered there. Chapter 229. The New Foundation Building Great Cultivator to Battle. This was the first time he had seen so many people at Qingzhou Mountain. After all, he usually led a reclusive life and barely went out. Or it could be said that most cultivators did not like to venture outside. People kept arriving one after another. After about a quarter of an hour, nearly everyone had arrived. In the plaza, many people were whispering amongst themselves, speculating about why the family had summoned everyone here. But none knew what the matter was. It was at this time, two surging and majestic auras of spiritual pressure burst forth. Everyone looked up. They immediately saw an elder with the appearance of a young boy despite his white hair, wearing a Qingzhou robe and with a dignified face, flying through the air. Next to this elder, there was a scholarly-looking middle-aged man dressed in a blue robe, about 40 years old. To everyone's surprise, this middle-aged man, just like the Lu family ancestor, was exuding a terrifying aura of spiritual pressure. And he was also flying through the air. We pay our respects to the ancestor. We pay our respects to the ancestor. We pay our respects to the ancestor. At this moment, everyone shouted in unison, bowing in salute. Flying through the air, has the Lu family brought forth a new foundation building great cultivator? Seeing this scene, Lu Changsheng was also astonished and bowed in salute. Flying through the air was something only achievable after breaking through to foundation establishment. It was also a symbol and characteristic of a foundation building great cultivator. This scholarly man who was flying next to the Lu family ancestor was indicating that he was a foundation building great cultivator. Silence. The Lu family ancestor spoke indifferently, quieting the clamor in the plaza. Then he swept his gaze over everyone and said, "Today I have an announcement to make. As you all can see, Yuan Zhong has broken through to foundation establishment." The aged voice of the Lu family ancestor was not loud, but it clearly reached everyone's ears. We pay respects to Ancestor Yuan Zhong. We pay respects to Ancestor Yuan Zhong. We pay respects to Ancestor Yuan Zhong. Upon hearing the words of the Lu family ancestor, confirming that Lu Yuanzhong had become a foundation-building great cultivator, all the Lu family disciples were overcome with excitement and fervor. The Lu family members, who had felt a bit repressed during this period, suddenly swept away all traces of gloom. With their emotions surging like a tidal wave, they shouted together, "Lu Yuanzhong, the Lu family has actually brought forth a new foundation building great cultivator." Lu Changsheng, hearing these words, was also thrilled inside. After all, the emergence of a new foundation building great cultivator in the Lu family meant that the crisis at Qingzhou Mountain would be resolved. He no longer needed to worry about the need to flee with his wives and children. He could continue to live in Qingzhou Mountain peacefully and steadily. Because, unless it was absolutely necessary, Lu Changsheng really did not want to reveal his true strength. In the eyes of others, he was only a 9th grade spiritual root. Exposing too much strength would easily draw attention and make him a target. It was bound to bring about many unnecessary troubles. By the way, the family head, the second elder, and the others, could they have already known about this ancestor Yuan Zhong of the Lu family? Lu Changsheng looked at the Lu family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong on the high platform and suddenly thought to himself. He recalled Lu Yuanding and the second elder's reassurances that the Lu family had a hidden depth. Moreover, Lu Changsheng knew that breaking through to the foundation establishment stage would provoke the spirit energy of heaven and earth, causing a significant disturbance. In those 3 months, he had always been in Qingzhou, and he hadn't sensed any signs of someone breaking through to foundation establishment. This indicated that Ancestor Yuan Zhong might not have achieved his breakthrough in this period. Of course, it was also possible that the Liu family had used some means to conceal the signs and phenomena of the breakthrough. The Chen family has bullied us Liu family too far. Today, with my achievement of foundation establishment, is also the day for our Liu family to counterattack. The ancestor has already formed an alliance with 100 Birds Lake by family and intends to march to Red Leaf Valley today to destroy the Chun family, eradicating Red Leaf Valley Chun family from the cultivation world. At this moment, Liu Yuanzhong, the newly promoted foundation establishment ancestor of the Liu family, looked at everyone and declared with a resonant voice. The simple words set the blood of all Liu family disciples boiling. For these past few months, or even years, every member of the Liu family had been harboring a sense of frustration. Their hatred for the Red Leaf Valley Chen family had accumulated for over a decade. Now that the Liu family had given birth to their second foundation-building great cultivator and was preparing to counterattack the Chen family, how could they not be excited and moved? They felt as if they were invigorated with renewed energy, their hearts tumultuous with excitement. They could hardly wait to follow the two ancestors and make their move against the Chen family. So urgent? It seems that ancestor Yuan Zhong broke through to foundation establishment a long time ago, but kept it a secret, consolidating his cultivation realm or waiting for the right moment. No wonder the family head has been urging me to make more talismans all this past year. During this period, the family has also been covertly acquiring talismans, elixir medicines, puppets, and other treasures. It appears it was all in preparation for this battle. Liu Changsheng, hearing Liu Yuanzhong's words, had a sudden realization. He finally understood why the Liu family had called all their family disciples back. It was all in preparation for this moment. The Chen family wanted to devour and take over the Liu family. But similarly, the Liu family also wanted to take down the Chen family and advance further. With the Liu family ancestors' grand birthday approaching, it seemed that they wanted to use this opportunity to give their last bit of strength to the Liu family. With two foundation-building great cultivators allied with 100 Birds Lake by family, that makes 3 foundation-building great cultivators. True, although the Chun family has only one foundation establishment ancestor, Red Leaf Valley is also protected by a formation. If there were only 2 foundation-building great cultivators, it still might not be enough to break through. And even if the Liu family did conquer the Chun family, there would be significant casualties. Relying solely on the Liu family would make it difficult to take over the spirit vein of Red Leaf Valley, hence why they brought in the 100 Birds Lake by family, who has had good relations with the Liu family for generations. With the addition of the Bai family ancestor, with 3 foundation-building great cultivators, this battle should be nearly certain. Even if the Chun family seeks reinforcements from Wugong Ridge Zheng family, the Zheng family would not be able to assist in time. Chapter 230. The New Foundation Establishment Great Cultivator to Battle. Liu Changsheng pondered in his heart. The Liu family of Qingzhou Mountain had been on good terms for generations with the Bai family of Whitebird Lake. As for the Chun family of Red Leaf Valley, they also maintained friendly relations with the Zheng family of Wugong Ridge. But now, if the Liu family and the Bai family, with their 3 foundation establishment great cultivators, were to strike the Chun family with the force of thunder, it was improbable that the Zheng family of Wugong Ridge could come to the rescue so quickly. After Liu Yuanzhong finished speaking, Liu Yuanding and a group of Liu family elders and clan seniors appeared. They summoned all the Liu family disciples who were at the late stage of qi refinement or above. Following the 2 ancestors, they set out to strike at the Chen family. There would be rewards based on merit afterward, and every person who registered was to be issued talismans, elixir medicines, magic artifacts, and treasures. Changsheng Mian, follow your grandmother over later, said the 4th elder as he came over with 2 packets containing talismans, elixir medicines, and magic artifacts for Liu Changsheng and Liu Miaoyun, and spoke out. This battle was a general mobilization of the entire Liu family. All Liu family disciples above the middle stage of qi refinement had to take part. Consequently, Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoyun were no exception. For the Lu family, this battle was deemed a sure win situation. There was no danger anticipated. Having all the family disciples participate was also an opportunity to gain experience, expand horizons, and strengthen their sense of belonging to the family. Yes, grandmother, Lu Changsheng replied. He had wondered if he could avoid going, just wait at the Lu family for the good news. But unexpectedly, the fourth elder came and involved both him and Lu Miaoyan. He understood that such a full family mobilization was unavoidable. To not participate would be akin to desertion. So he accepted the call, went along to see what a battle at the level of Foundation Establishment great cultivators looked like. After all, he had yet to witness the power of a Foundation Establishment great cultivator. This would give him a chance to gauge the strength of Foundation Establishment cultivators, so he would know what to expect when facing one in the future. Good. Just follow your grandmother later. There won't be any danger, said the fourth elder in a gentle and kindly tone. All right, grandmother. Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoyan nodded in agreement. At that moment, Lu Changsheng also noticed Lu Yuanding instructing his two daughters about something. Apparently, they were also going to participate. No one could be exempted. Half a day later, the Lu family gathered all the disciples who were going to battle. Besides the two Foundation Establishment ancestors, there were a total of 4 cultivators at the 9th level energy refinement, 13 at the energy refinement late stage, and more than 50 at the middle stage. Those at the initial stage of Qi refinement were not allowed to join in. Even though this battle was expected to be an easy victory, the Lu family would not bring along cultivators at the initial stage of Qi refinement, since such strength would not only be of little use, but might also drag down the others. Changsheng, Miaoyun, called the fourth elder. He released a flying boat, calling Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoyun aboard, along with a few other Lu family disciples, filling up the boat. Depart for battle, shouted the Lu family ancestor after the assembly was complete, leading the way with Lu Yuanzhong on flying swords. 5 small flying boats followed, carrying a legion of Lu family disciples. Some Lu family elders and guest elders rode on flying mounts on both sides of the boats. They left Qingzhou Mountain in a mighty procession, heading towards the Chun family of Red Leaf Valley. Meanwhile, Qingzhou Mountain was left with only a few clan seniors who activated the mountain protection array, guarding the mountain, to prevent anyone from taking advantage of their absence. Simultaneously, in Red Leaf Valley, a slender youth was cultivating bees and insects, when suddenly he felt somewhat unsettled in his mind and spirit. It's uncertain how many years the Lu family ancestor has left. Otherwise, if this delay continues, the effect of the Lockhart goo will become increasingly significant on me, murmured Meng Xiaochan to herself. Because of the Lockhart goo, she could not directly kill Lu Changsheng. Upon hearing that the Lu family ancestor did not have many years left and learning of the enmity between the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain and the Chun family of Red Leaf Valley, she came up with a plan and went to Red Leaf Valley to become a cultivator of the Chun family, hoping to use the might of the Chun family to annihilate the Lu family. Then she would find a way to have ancestor Chun indirectly kill Lu Changsheng and retrieve the Lockhart goo. P.S. My condition is really not good after staying up late, so I need to rest a bit. Chapter 231. No Lu Lang. _1 Qingzhou Mountain wasn't very far from Red Leaf Valley. The journey was just over 1,000 li. It was precisely because of their proximity that both families often fought over resources around their clan territories, leading to conflicts. An incident involving a spirit stone mine over 10 years ago had become the flashpoint for all these conflicts. It had led both families into an all-out conflict, creating an irreconcilable blood feud. After the Lu family's main forces had traveled several hundred li, Lu Changsheng saw a formidable and impressive army heading in their direction. Leading this army was an elderly man with an old face and a tall figure, wearing a robe embroidered with flying birds. He stood with his hands behind his back, his black bird-embroidered robe fluttering in the wind, riding atop a black hawk with a formidable presence. Following him were 3 flying boats and a group of cultivators riding spirit birds. Brother Lu, Taoist Yuanzhong. The old man greeted the Lu family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong with a clasped fist. Brother Bai, Taoist Bai. The Lu family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong also returned the gesture to the Bai family ancestor. After a brief exchange, they led their respective troops and hastened towards Red Leaf Valley. It was clear they had planned to meet here. Is this the Hundred Birds Lake Bai family and the Bai family ancestor? Lu Changsheng looked towards the large troop from the Bai family traveling with them. About 60 people in total. Aside from the Bai family ancestor, who was a foundation-building great cultivator, the strength and the number of the energy-refining cultivators seemed roughly equal to those of the Lu family. However, Lu Changsheng knew that excluding Lu Yuanzhong, who had just recently achieved foundation establishment, the overall strength of the Bai family was slightly stronger than the Lu families. It seemed the Bai family hadn't, like the Lu family, completely emptied out their clan's forces to commit to this battle. Hundred Birds Lake is teeming with spirit fish and other aquatic products, attracted by many spirit birds that come to the lake to hunt. Thus, Bai family cultivators are mostly adept in the art of beast taming, not just fishing, but also capturing and domesticating spirit birds to earn spirit stones. Lu Changsheng once again observed the spirit birds ridden by the Bai family troops. They were noticeably quite good. Not just typical transport spirit birds like iron feather eagles. They ought to possess some combat capabilities. The majestic black hawk beneath the feet of the Bai family ancestor, for instance, was probably a peak first-grade demon beast. When we arrive at Red Leaf Valley, you don't need to disembark from the flying boat. Just follow my instructions, said the fourth elder as they neared Red Leaf Valley. He began to instruct those on the flying boat, including Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoyun, on what to do upon arrival. The first step was to form up. Then, using talismans and attack formations issued by the family, they would begin breaking through the formation. Once the great formation was breached, they would follow the fourth elder in the assault. Clearly, the Lu family and the Bai family had a detailed plan prepared for this battle. Yes, Grandma. Yes, fourth elder. The people on a flying boat nodded and replied. 2 hours later, everyone, get ready. We're approaching Red Leaf Valley now. Lu Yuanzhong announced, his booming voice reaching everyone's ears. The eager Lu family young disciples, stirred upon hearing this, braced themselves and focused attentively. So this is Red Leaf Valley? Lu Changsheng gazed forward, immediately spotting a place shrouded and obscured by formations, hazy to the point where only a vast expanse of crimson could be seen. This was his first visit to Red Leaf Valley. He knew that, like Qingzhou Mountain, Red Leaf Valley was known for a particular type of red leaf tree. Meanwhile, within Red Leaf Valley, not good, enemy attack. The Chun family scouts stationed for patrol, seeing the flying boats and cultivators approaching from afar in the sky toward Red Leaf Valley, instantly changed their expressions, realizing something was amiss. They urgently relayed a message to their clan, signaling an enemy assault. At the same time, they activated the Great Formation's defenses at full strength. The large forces of the Lu family and the Bai family arrived around Red Leaf Valley and began to fan out systematically. They surrounded Red Leaf Valley from various directions. 2 array masters proficient in formations then took out their instruments, beginning to set up formations around the perimeter of Red Leaf Valley. One was a formation to prevent the Chun family cultivators from escaping. The other was to break through the Chun family's second-rank grade formation. Everyone, get ready. Begin breaking the formation. The Lu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor didn't bother with pomp and ceremony. With a simple raise of their hands, they ordered everyone to start breaking the formation. The next moment, boom, 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 boom. All Lu family and Bai family cultivators pulled out talismans, cast spells, and launched bold spiritual light attacks, slamming into the second-rank great formation of Red Leaf Valley. The formation's shield rippled and thundered in response. Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoyun, along with the fourth elder, joined in the assault from the southeast side of Red Leaf Valley, activating their talismans to bombard the Great Formation. It seems that war is always a drain on resources, no matter where. Lu Changsheng couldn't help thinking to himself as he watched the unfolding scene. Even with 3 Foundation establishment great cultivators from the Lu and Bai families, breaking through the Chun family's second-rank Great Formation was not going to be easy. They had no choice but to force their way through. And such an assault was, frankly, just burning money. Each wave of attacks cost hundreds of spirit stones. To break through the Chun family's second-rank Great Formation would likely require tens of thousands of spirit stones. In front of Red Leaf Valley, the Lu family ancestor looked towards the Great Formation of Red Leaf Valley and transmitted a message to Lu Yuanzhong, who was beside him. Yuanzhong, when the Great Formation breaks, you stay back and press the attack. Try not to get involved. Otherwise, in desperation, Old Ghost Chun might decide to target you for a suicidal struggle. I, the ancestor, don't have much longer to live, so I have no worries. It's a good opportunity to exterminate him and remove future troubles, said the Lu family ancestor in a grave tone. Although they had 3 Foundation establishment great cultivators on their side, facing a single ancestor Chun, success seemed almost certain. But there was always the chance that Ancestor Chun had some tricks up his sleeve. Chapter 232, No Lu Lang. In a desperate struggle like a cornered beast, they staked everything in a fight to the death, hoping to take down Lu Yuanzhong and plunge his Lu family into crisis. After all, the Lu family ancestors' time was almost up. For the sake of Lu Yuanzhong's Foundation establishment and this battle, the Lu family had expended a great deal. They no longer had the ability to cultivate a second Foundation establishment cultivator. Therefore, Lu Yuanzhong absolutely could not have any mishaps. Ancestor. Lu Yuanzhong was visibly moved. He knew in his heart that the ancestor had already resolved to face death in this battle. He was prepared to gamble with his life to kill Ancestor Chun. Otherwise, they couldn't possibly have convinced the Bai family ancestor to come and join this battle with so many people. Because once a family war like this began, it was essential to slay Ancestor Chun, this Foundation establishment cultivator. If not, letting Ancestor Chun, a Foundation-building great cultivator, escape would result in endless troubles for both the Chun and Bai families. Lu Old Ghost, by Old Ghost, do you really want to bring ruin to both our families? As the Great Formation spiritual light dimmed in Red Leaf Valley, a streak of light emerged, exuding a terrifying aura of spiritual pressure. It was Ancestor Chun. He quickly took command of the second-rank Great Formation at Qingzhou Mountain. The once dimming light, under the siege, now burst forth, shaping like an upside-down crystal bowl, indestructible. The fish may die, but the net may not break, the Lu family ancestor said with an indifferent expression. Then he shouted loudly, "Talisman to break the ban, break the formation." At his command, immediately, the cultivators of the Lu family and Bai family in the late stage of energy refinement each sacrificed a first-grade talisman towards the weakest part of the formation. The giant bowl that had just burst into light, looking like an upside-down crystal, abruptly became less luminous. Lu family's Lu Yuanzhong, you've actually broken through to Foundation establishment. At this moment, Ancestor Chun saw Lu Yuanzhong standing next to the Lu family ancestor. His eyes narrowed sharply. The Chun family and Lu family were mortal enemies, so he naturally knew about the Lu family. He was aware of who had the potential to break through to Foundation establishment. He recognized Lu Yuanzhong at a glance and saw that he had achieved Foundation establishment. Lu Old Ghost, I didn't expect that before your death, your Lu family would actually produce a Foundation establishment great cultivator. Ancestor Chen looked at the Lu family ancestor with a sullen face and spoke. He had thought that in a few more years, the Lu family ancestor would die. Unexpectedly, at this crucial moment, the Lu family had a new Foundation establishment great cultivator. He also understood that the Lu and Bai families came fully prepared, clearly intending to destroy his Chun family today. If the formation was breached, not only would the Chun family be doomed, facing the encirclement of 3 Foundation establishment cultivators, he would hardly escape calamity. Old Ghost Chun, do you really believe my Chun family is so easily bullied? Ancestor Chun let out a cold laugh, his expression extremely calm. He immediately transmitted a message. Meng friend, please assist. In a short while, a streak of light flew through the sky, transforming into a skinny young man. Foundation establishment, great cultivator. How is this possible? How did the Chun family also have a second Foundation establishment cultivator? No, this person isn't from the Chun family. Even though the young man did not emit the pressure of Foundation establishment, the Liu family ancestor by family ancestor and Liu Yuanzhong could tell at a glance that he was a Foundation establishment cultivator. All their complexions changed instantly. They dared to come to Red Leaf Valley for this battle, relying on the strength of 3 Foundation establishment cultivators against the only one from the Qin family. With a 3-to-1 advantage, victory seemed certain for them. However, if it was 3 against 2, slaying Ancestor Chun would become very difficult. Moreover, in this battle, they had to make a quick decision: to take down Red Leaf Valley with the swiftness of a thunderbolt. Otherwise, once the Wugong Ridge Zheng family received the Chun family's call for help and hurried over, they would have no hope of capturing Red Leaf Valley. Ancestor, Liu brother, do we fight or retreat? Liu Yuanzhong and the Bai family ancestor turned to the Liu family ancestor, inquiring about his plan. The 3 had not anticipated that the Chun family would have a second Foundation establishment great cultivator. For this trip to Red Leaf Valley, the Liu and Bai families had distributed resources to all their disciples, all of which were pure spirit stones. If they failed to capture Red Leaf Valley, it would mean a massive loss for both families. And now, choosing to retreat would greatly demoralize their families. The Liu family ancestor did not speak. His expression was extremely grim. He had not anticipated this situation. His life was nearly over, without much time left. Once he passed away, the Liu family would be left with only Liu Yuanzhong, a great cultivator who had just broken through to Foundation establishment. At that point, the Liu family would struggle mightily against the Chun family, and the Chun family might even join forces with the Wugong Ridge Zheng family to attack their Qingzhou Mountain. Fellow Taoist, you shouldn't be from the Qin family, right? This matter is a dispute between my Liu family and the Qin family. As long as you leave and do not join this battle, my Liu family is willing to offer a handsome reward. Or if you have any demands, you can state them, the Liu family ancestor said courteously to Meng Xiaochan as he made a polite gesture with his hands. He had noticed that the other party was not from the Qin family. He hoped that they would leave and not get involved in this battle. Meng friend, I have already sent a message to the Wugong Ridge Zheng family. As soon as Ancestor Zheng arrives, the crisis will be resolved, and my Chun family will not let you take action in vain. There will be a generous reward. Ancestor Qin also hurriedly spoke to Meng Xiaochan. Meng Xiaochan, having come over due to an old grudge with the Liu family, wanted to join the Chun family in destroying the Liu family for revenge and to gain a share of the spoils. But now, with 3 Foundation establishment cultivators in front of him, he dared not bet that Meng Xiaochan would leave. Therefore, to get the help of Meng Xiaochan, a Foundation establishment cultivator, he naturally had to pay a price. Meng Xiaochan did not speak, because at this moment, she finally understood the source of her previous unease. Chapter 233, No Lulang. Lockhart Gu. After her breakthrough to Foundation establishment, she could barely suppress the influence of the Lockhart Gu. But at this moment, her heart couldn't help but palpitate as affection began to permeate. Her divine sense involuntarily looked towards the southeast direction of Red Leaf Valley. She saw a handsome and upright young man on a flying boat in the distance. Kill him, he must be killed. Upon seeing Liu Changsheng, the effect of the suppressed Lockhart Gu burst forth like a tide, instilling a sense of fear and dread in Meng Xiaoqian's heart. The only thought in her mind was to kill Lu Changsheng quickly and retrieve the Lockhart Gu. Patriarch Chun, I can help you, but I need you to help me kill a cultivator from the Lu family right now, she said suddenly, clutching her chest and suppressing the agony brought on by the Lockhart Gu with a grave tone. Kill whom? Ancestor Chun directly inquired. I have taken an oath not to harm him, so as long as Patriarch Chun is willing to make a move, I am willing to help your Chun family through this calamity. He is on the flying boat in the southeast direction, Meng Xiaochan said through clenched teeth, her face contorted with pain and her voice strained. She took out a jade slip and handed it to Ancestor Chun. It was a portrayal of Lu Changsheng. Ancestor Chun saw Meng Xiaocan's painful expression and couldn't help but be surprised by her condition. He believed half of what Meng Xiaochan said. He surmised that she must be under some oath or curse. He internally remarked how overbearing the oath must be. To cause a foundation building great cultivator such pain simply for harboring malice towards someone. However, in the cultivation world, there are all sorts of strange and bizarre methods. For example, some master-servant pacts that would cause the servant to be like this, unable to break free. Once they harbor malice, they would suffer from the backlash of the pact, leading to unbearable pain. Fine, I-Chun will take on this task. Old Ghost Chin immediately agreed. At this moment, he also had no choice but to agree. Otherwise, if Meng Xiaochan left, Red Leaf Valley would be in danger. Moreover, seeing Meng Xiaochan in such a state, he also knew, if Lu Changsheng did not die and the great battle commenced, it might even affect the performance of his own strength as a Foundation establishment adherent. Lu Old Ghost, give up. This Meng Daoist friend is a cultivator under my Chun family. She will not leave. I have already sent a message to Daoist Zheng. It's still not too late for you to leave now. Immediately after, Ancestor Chen looked towards the Lu family ancestor and said coldly, continue breaking the formation. Upon hearing this, the Lu family ancestor ground his teeth and responded. For him, at this moment, the situation was like an arrow on the bowstring, impossible not to launch. Facing these circumstances, the Lu family also had no option to retreat. Brother Bai, don't worry, when the time comes, I will use a secret technique. Even if I cannot fight off Old Ghost Chun, I will make sure he suffers a severe blow and lead to a short life. The Lu family ancestor said to the Bai family ancestor with a heavy voice. Compared to the Lu family, the Bai family situation was somewhat better, and they could still retreat. So he had to continue fighting and ensure the Bai family ancestor was on board. All right, since Brother Lu says so, I will continue to fight. Upon hearing this, the Bai family ancestor nodded in agreement. He also did not wish for the Chun family to become too powerful. He hoped that before the Lu family ancestor died, he could take the Chun family ancestor with him. Suddenly, the three Foundation establishment cultivators exchanged glances and began to act, attacking the formation ahead to accelerate the breach in the Great Formation. Everyone, form up! Ancestor Chun shouted loudly. He prompted the Chun family clansmen to operate their energy simultaneously, melding their chi into the formation to counter the attacks. But the Lu and Bai families came to this battle prepared and had made comprehensive arrangements. They not only distributed plenty of talismans for their clansmen to launch attacks with, they had also prepared many formation-breaking talismans, continuously weakening and lifting the restrictions of the formation. Furthermore, at this time, the array masters of the Lu and Bai families were also affecting the Red Leaf Valley's second-rank Great Formation with external formations. This won't do at this rate. It will be difficult to hold out until Daoist Zheng arrives, Ancestor Chen knew. The current situation made it hard to rely on the formation to last until the arrival of Bai family ancestor Zheng. Moreover, if this stalemate continued, his and his clanspeople's mana would be continually drained by the formation. By the time the formation was breached, he would be weakened and unable to avoid a disaster. Meng Daoist friend, I shall fulfill the agreement right now. Ancestor Chun made a decisive call. Planning to give up the Great Formation's defense, relying on himself, and Meng Xiaochuan to hold out until the Zheng family's reinforcements arrived. As his words fell, he took charge of the formation, causing a huge, glass-like hammer to appear above the second-rank great formation like a crystalline bowl, and smashed it heavily towards a flying boat in the southeast. Huh? What does old Ghost Chin think he's doing? Does he actually want to break through the defense and escape? No good. It's in the direction of the fourth elder. The Lu family ancestor, the Bai family ancestor, and Lu Yuanzhong, upon seeing this scene, were all shocked. They did not expect Ancestor Chun to counterattack at this moment. Believing that he intended to tear through their defensive formation to flee, they hurriedly flew towards the southeast direction. Not good. In the southeast, aboard the flying boat, the fourth elder was commanding everyone to break the formation. Seeing Ancestor Chen suddenly take control of the formation and launch an offensive against them, her complexion drastically changed. With a slap on her storage bag, she activated a stack of first-rank supreme talismans for protection. All of them turned into layers of golden light, enveloping everyone. She also sacrificed a blue treasure bead that soared into the sky, bursting forth with dazzling light, in an attempt to block the towering hammer. Lu Changsheng witnessed this scene, his own complexion changing. He never expected that in the midst of an advantageous battle, the Qin family would begin to counterattack, and it was aimed right at his side. He could clearly feel the terror of this strike. This was no longer a mere attack from an average foundation establishment great cultivator. With the first-rank talismans of the fourth elder, it would likely be very difficult to defend. At this moment, Lu Changsheng could no longer afford to hide his capabilities. He took out the only second-rank middle-grade defense talisman he had on him and immediately activated it. In the blink of an eye, a dense, golden divine light burst out from the talisman, forming a golden barrier that enveloped the entire flying boat, giving off an indestructible aura. Is that a second-rank talisman? The fourth elder, seeing the talisman Lu Changsheng used, was shocked, recognizing it as a second-rank talisman. She did not expect Lu Changsheng to possess a talisman of such rank. Without any time to ponder, bang! The giant hammer from the heavens had already smashed down hard. It directly crushed the blue treasure bead that the fourth elder had sacrificed into powder, causing the fourth elder's complexion to turn pale, and she let out a muffled groan. Bang, bang, bang. The hammer kept falling, causing the defenses formed by the fourth elder's several life-saving talismans to rapidly shatter within a few breaths. Only Lu Changsheng's second-rank middle-grade talisman managed to slightly hold up for a moment. In that instant, Lu Changsheng activated another second-rank lower-grade talisman, which formed another layer of golden light barrier. The fourth elder, with no time to be surprised or to think, drew several more talismans from her storage bag, activated them, and formed additional defenses. Ancestor Chun, seeing this scene, was also somewhat surprised. He had thought that one strike would easily kill everyone on the flying boat. Yet, these people actually had so many talismans, and even ones as protective as second-rank talismans. Kill! Ancestor Chin's expression turned ferocious. He continued to draw power from the formation, seeking to annihilate Lu Changsheng and the others. However, at this moment, Lu Yuanzhong and the Lu family ancestor also arrived. Seeing the fourth elder and Lu Changsheng struggling to resist, they immediately brought out their spiritual artifacts and cast spells to block the formation hammer. Meanwhile, Meng Xiaochuan inside the Great Formation watched this unfold. Seeing Ancestor Chun controlling the formation to attack Lu Changsheng, she felt not the slightest pleasure. Clutching her chest tightly, she was in extreme agony, gasping for breath, with heartache as if being cut by knives, and tears starting to flow from the corners of her eyes. Quick, quick! She could feel the influence of the Lockhart, goo, and the affection in her heart, causing her to gradually lose her sanity. The last bit of reason in her mind urged her to implore Ancestor Chun to quickly kill Lu Changsheng. But in the next instant, under the influence of the Lockhart, goo, and the affection spreading through her heart, she finally could no longer maintain her clear consciousness. "No, Lu Lang." Meng Xiaochan suddenly looked up, crying out loudly, her tearful eyes gazing toward Ancestor Chen as he moved against Lu Changsheng, feeling a surge of murderous intent fill her heart. All of a sudden, she soared into the sky, charging at Ancestor Chen, who was controlling the formation. Chapter 234. Is Lu Lang Lu Changsheng? _1. What's going on? Why is Preceptor Meng attacking the Ancestor? Ancestor, be careful. Inside Red Leaf Valley, as the Chun family cultivators were channeling their energy to fortify the Great Formation, they were shocked to see Meng Xiaochan suddenly soar into the sky with purple flames appearing in her hands, launching an attack on Ancestor Chun. Not only them. Outside Red Leaf Valley, the Lu family ancestor, Lu Yuanzhong, and others who were breaking the formation were also startled by this scene. They were utterly confused. They couldn't understand the situation with this Chun family preceptor, why she suddenly made a move against Ancestor Chun. But they saw Meng Xiaochan conjure a cluster of purple flames between her hands. Then, with a clap of her hands, a purple fire serpent formed, radiating strong mana fluctuations as it charged at Ancestor Chun. "Preceptor Meng, what are you doing?" Ancestor Chun also sensed something was amiss, quickly turned around, and exclaimed in alarm upon seeing the approaching fire serpent. He hastily took out an ice-blue talisman and activated it. In an instant, a horrifying cold wind swept out, seemingly freezing heaven and earth, creating multiple ice walls in front of him to block the fire serpent. The fire serpent roared, rapidly melting the ice walls. "Dare to hurt Lu Lang die?" Meng Xiaochan, her eyes filled with killing intent, looked at Ancestor Chun and shouted fiercely. She unleashed a set of flying daggers, striking out swiftly. At the same time, she slapped her spiritual beast bag, and a swarm of colorful bugs of various sizes buzzed out, charging directly at Ancestor Chun. "Lu Lang? Who is this Lu Lang? Could it be someone from the Lu family? Is Preceptor Meng possibly the Lu family's backup plan? The Lu family really knows how to endure, to have planted a foundation-building great cultivator in our Chun family so early. Your Lu family has 3 foundation-building great cultivators. You have been conceding step by step, showing weakness. It's simply despicable and hateful. We're finished. The Chun family is finished." Chun Shuishang, the Chun family patriarch, and all the elders witnessed this scene and heard these words. Their faces turned pale with despair. They thought Meng Xiaochan was a mole sent by the Lu family. When Meng Xiaochan first came to the Chun family, they naturally investigated her background information. They found no connection with the Lu family. Moreover, they had been cautious with Meng Xiaochan, not revealing too much information. But they never expected Meng Xiaochan would betray them at such a critical moment. Facing the combined forces of the Lu and Bai families, 3 foundation establishment cultivators, the Chun family was already struggling to defend themselves. Now, with another foundation-building great cultivator turning against them and launching a surprise attack on Ancestor Chen from within, they were entirely powerless to resist. In a flash, a wave of fear and despair spread among the Chun family cultivators. "Lu Lang? Who is this?" The Lu family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong, who were grappling with the heavy hammer of the Great Formation, looked at each other, equally baffled. They did not understand what was going on. Who was this so-called Lu Lang? They certainly did not know this foundation-building great cultivator. "Old Lu Ghost, I had no idea you hid so deep." By family ancestor, witnessing the scene not far away, was also utterly astonished. Hearing this Lu Lang, he subconsciously thought that Meng Xiaochan must have been a secret pawn of the Lu family. This made him even more wary of the Lu family, just in case he might also be targeted by the Lu family one day. After all, the 2 families have been allies for generations, without any conflicts of interest. But if it involved fundamental interests, such relations could be severed in a heartbeat. "It's him. While everyone was puzzled about who Lu Lang mentioned by Meng Xiaochan was, Lu Changxing couldn't help but curse silently. He recognized the thin young man at a glance. It was the same person who had managed to escape from him once when he had led a diversion using a Foundation establishment spiritual object at Nine Dragons Market. Because he was the only one who had escaped from his clutches, and also having invited him to explore a cave dwelling afterward, which caused the peach blossom goo to indicate some romantic fortune, Lu Changsheng had a deep memory of him. Unexpectedly, they would encounter each other here today. Moreover, the other party had become a Foundation establishment great cultivator. This Lu Lang couldn't be calling for me, could it? Lu Changsheng, watching the thin young man commanding the swarm and attacking Ancestor Chun, suddenly recalled something. That was back at Nine Dragons Market. A girl in a purple dress had attacked him out of nowhere, laying a goo on him. But at that time, he hadn't understood why. Or had he offended her? Now, seeing this thin young man, he suddenly had a guess, an intuitive feeling. The person before him, the thin young man, was actually the girl in the purple dress. One reason being the romantic fortune indicated through the peach blossom goo, letting him know that this thin young man was actually a woman in disguise. Another reason was that goo and bugs were akin, and this thin young man was skilled in bug control. If that's the case, does it all make sense? Her sudden betrayal and attack. Could it be because Ancestor Chun just attacked me? If that's the case, then the effects of that love goo are a bit too overbearing, aren't they? Lu Changsheng pondered in his heart. He felt it was very likely that things were as he surmised, but he did not speak out. After all, it was just a guess in his heart. He was not 100% sure that the thin young man was the girl in the purple dress. As Lu Changsheng was contemplating, Meng Xiaoquan's purple fire serpent had already broken through the ice wall and was upon Ancestor Chun. Detestable, utterly detestable. Ancestor Chun, seeing Meng Xiaoquan's murderous look, had no time to think or ask what was going on. He brought out a crimson flying sword, erupting with intense mana fluctuations, and made a fierce cut at the fire serpent before him, splitting it in two. But at that moment, swarms of bugs were closing in on him, a terrifying sight. He quickly formed a spiritual art with his hands, his robe fluttering, as billowing red flames spread out around him, resembling a sweeping fire cloud, annihilating the swarm. Chapter 235. Is Lu Lang Lu Changsheng? Break the formation, break it with all your might. Lu family ancestors saw that the battle of spells between Ancestor Chun and Meng Xiaochan had significantly weakened the power of the formation before them. He knew Ancestor Chun couldn't multitask at this moment, both maintaining the great formation and battling at the same time. He immediately shouted out loud, "Boom, boom, boom." With the command issued, cultivators from both families surrounding Red Leaf Valley all brought forth magic artifacts, activated talismans, cast spells, and bombarded the Great Formation. Several array masters also, at this moment, pushed the formation to its limit, leveraging it to pry open Red Leaf Valley's Great Formation. Break! Lu family ancestor, Lu Yuanzhong, and by family ancestor, at this moment, also combined their strength to strike Red Leaf Valley's Great Formation. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, rumble. Red Leaf Valley's Great Formation, already converted from defense to offense by Ancestor Chun, was significantly weakened in defense. Now, that Ancestor Chun was also dividing his attention, unable to fully control the Great Formation, its power plummeted yet another notch. Under the relentless assault, and with a loud, explosive noise, the second-rank Great Formation, like a glazed bowl, shattered into pieces. Phew! The Qin family elder in charge of this formation turned pale at that moment and spat out a mouthful of blood essence. It wasn't just him. All Chan family disciples connected to the Great Formation also groaned, their breathing disordered. No! Watching the Great Formation break open, Ancestor Chun, pale-faced and eyes nearly splitting with fury as he struggled against Meng Xiaochan, roared in unwillingness. He knew their Qin family was finished today. The Great Formation is broken. Kill. Lu family ancestor gave the command. At the same time, he sent a message to Lu Yuanzhong. Yuanzhong, hold back the enemy. After speaking, he held a Qingzhu flying sword, bursting with sharp energy, and attacked Ancestor Chun, who was locked in a standoff with Meng Xiaochan, to prevent Ancestor Chun from escaping. Ancestor, you must escape. Inside Red Leaf Valley, many Chun family elders, with resolute expressions, shouted loudly towards Ancestor Chun. They were very clear in their hearts. The Chun family was finished. After today, there would be no Chun family in Red Leaf Valley. But if Ancestor Chun managed to escape, he could take the disciples outside to develop in a faraway place. Their Chun family would still have the hope of rising again. However, if Ancestor Chun died too, the chance for their Chun family to rise again would be extremely slim. Old Ghost Chun, your time has come. Bai family ancestor 2 issued commands ordering the Bai family cultivators to attack Red Leaf Valley. He then turned into an escape light and moved to strike Ancestor Chun. Even though he was wary of the Lu family at this moment, he couldn't possibly break the agreement and not exert effort. After all, now that Red Leaf Valley's great formation was broken, it was time to divide the spoils. Lu, old ghost, you've hidden your plans well. Since when did you start plotting against my Chun family? Ancestor Chun, with his robe fluttering and hair dancing wildly, surrounded by fierce flames, burning the thick swarm of insects, asked, looking towards Lu family ancestor attacking him. Just go on your way with those doubts in your heart. Lu family ancestor said coldly. He himself was confused, unaware of what Meng Xiaocan's situation was while fighting Ancestor Chun. But regardless of the situation, this was an opportunity. He intended to seize this chance to slay Ancestor Chun and end the blood feud between the Lu and Chun families. Very well, very well. I concede today. Ancestor Chun, seeing the 3 at the Foundation establishment level besieging him, also knew that he could not escape today's calamity. He tapped several acupoints on his chest, smacked his dantian, causing his Bodis energy and mana to surge, making even his pale face turn somewhat rosy. Clearly, he was invoking some secret technique to suppress his injuries and temporarily increase his combat power. Even if I am to die today, you will pay the price. Ancestor Chun glanced at Lu Yuanzhong in the distance with a hint of regret. Then he turned to Bai family ancestor and roared, attacking him. He knew very well among these 3 besieging him at Foundation establishment, it was Bai family ancestor who would dare not clash directly with him, the point of breakthrough. If he could kill Bai family ancestor in a desperate move, it would throw the Bai family into chaos. As for Lu family ancestor, his life expectancy was no more than 2 years. With Lu Yuanzhong around, there was not much point in fighting Lu family ancestor to the death. Old Ghost Chun, do you think this ancestor is easy to bully? Bai family ancestor, seeing Ancestor Chun attacking him, cursed inwardly. This whole affair was clearly led by the Lu family. Why come after him? But he also guessed Ancestor Chen's thoughts, wanting to treat him as a weak link, and quickly summoned a colorful feathered garment, radiating colorful divine light. Chun family cultivators, kill. Those who resist and refuse to surrender, kill. Those who intentionally damage property, kill. While the 3 at Foundation establishment level besieged Ancestor Chun, Lu Yuanzhong stood over Red Leaf Valley, holding the line, watching the 2 families' cultivators assail the Chun family. At this time, 4th Elder did not question Lu Changsheng about the 2nd rank talisman. Driving the flying boat, along with Lu Changsheng, Lu Miaoyun, and others, they entered Red Leaf Valley, wielding a flying sword, and began the slaughter. Alas, this is the cultivation world. Lu Changsheng watched the slaughter before him and sighed softly. He too had been through several massacres. Usually, when encountering robber cultivators, he felt no ripple in his heart when killing. But at this moment, the large-scale carnage before him did stir some emotions. However, he wasn't overly sentimental. Over the years, he had gradually adapted to the law of the survival of the fittest in the cultivation world. If you don't kill, others will kill you. If the Liu family had been the ones to fall today, this would have been their fate. I'll fight you all. A Chun family cultivator at 9th level energy refinement, utilizing magic artifacts, controlling puppets, activating several talismans, clashed against 3 Liu family elders. But in the next moment, Liu Yuanzhong, standing firm above, made his move. A mana hand came down and squashed him with a single clap. Chapter 236. Is Liu Lang Liu Changsheng? Liu Changsheng recognized the Chun family cultivator. It was none other than Shan Shuisheng, the Chun family patriarch and leader of those who had ambushed them on their way to Qingzhou Mountain from Qingyan sect with Liu Yuanding. But now, this same Chun family patriarch was slapped dead by Liu Yuanzhong with a single palm strike, emitting only a muffled grunt. This is the gap between Qi refinement and foundation establishment, Liu Changsheng thought quietly to himself. Family head, even in death, our Chun family will never submit. Let's fight them with all we've got. Except for some cultivators not related by blood who knelt to beg for mercy, the bloodline of the Chun family fought to their last breath. Because they knew they were certain to die. Better to go down fighting than to wait for death. Kill. At that moment, not far away, a Chun family cultivator with a fierce face commanded a flying sword, aiming it straight at Liu Miaoyan. Yuner, be careful. Liu Changsheng instantly activated a talisman, forming a protective light shield around Liu Miaoyan. Following that, the green-faced sword was unsheathed, transforming into a piercing sword light that shot forth, piercing through the cultivator's chest. Ugh, ugh, ugh. The Chun family cultivator, blood overflowing from his mouth, looked unwillingly at Liu Changsheng and the others before collapsing to the ground with a thud. Yuner, stay by my side, Liu Changsheng said calmly to Liu Miaoyan. Though Liu Miaoyan had reached the 5th level of Qi refinement, she had never really engaged in combat and had poor practical experience. This was also why the Liu and Bai families brought their clan's disciples here. Cultivation isn't about sitting back and relaxing, meditating daily, and leisurely riding on cranes. It's about fearlessness in the heart, slaying countless demons, braving brambles and thorns, to seek the path of true self. This endless road of cultivation is destined to go through countless calamities, honed by blood. All right, Liu Miaoyan obediently nodded, somewhat surprised by the strength of her husband. In such a slaughter, he remained so composed. The 4th elder, watching this scene, was likewise taken aback by Liu Changsheng's performance, feeling that her grandson-in-law was becoming more and more mysterious, unfathomable. Not only had he just used a 2nd-rank talisman, but now he calmly killed a 6th-level energy refining cultivator. To think, Liu Changsheng had merely reached the 6th level of Qi refinement himself. No wonder Changsheng managed to escape from the hands of 3 energy refinement late-stage cultivators back then. The 4th elder thought to herself. She then instructed, Changsheng, Yuner, be careful and don't stray too far from Grandma. Though this battle was victorious, a cornered beast will still fight. The desperate retaliation from the Chun family was bound to injure, or even kill, some of the Liu and Bai family disciples. Such things were inevitable. Grandma, rest assured, Liu Changsheng nodded. He had no desire to rack up merit by killing enemies. If a Chun family cultivator charged at them, he would counter and kill. If not, he would stay with Liu Miaoyan by the 4th elder's side. Meanwhile, above Red Leaf Valley, Ancestor Chun, amidst the siege of 3 foundation establishment cultivators, hair disheveled, spitting blood, wounded all over, was driven to madness. The moment the great formation broke, his mana had been damaged. Now entangled by 3 adversaries and witnessing the slaughter of his clan, he was driven to extreme desperation. All of you will die. Boom! Realizing his own end was near, Ancestor Chun pushed the secret technique he was using to the limit. He detonated his spiritual artifact and took out a blue pearl, hurling it towards the Bai family ancestor. After all, in his eyes, Although this battle was due to Meng Xiaochan, he hated the Lu family, and by family even more. He wanted to drag someone with him in death. Boom! 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 Amidst the explosion of the spiritual artifact and the heavenly thunder pearl, the sky erupted with a thunderous noise and a dazzling white light. It made everyone in Red Leaf Valley turn their gaze towards the spectacular white light in the sky. Ancestor! Ancestor! Lu Yuanzhong and the Bai family had hurriedly rushed toward the center of the white light. Cough, cough! If it hadn't been for my early precautions, that old ghost Qin's dying struggle and the self-destruction of his spiritual artifact along with this heavenly thunder pearl, I might really have been done for, Lu family ancestor said, coughing up blood. It's fine. I had anticipated that the old fiend would fight desperately at his death. Bai family ancestor, too, was coughing up blood, his spiritual clothing and feather cloak damaged. He was infuriated at the thought of Ancestor Chun trying to take him down with him. The injuries from this battle would take 3 to 5 years to heal properly. And with that mighty explosion, as Ancestor Chun perished, Meng Xiaoquan's mental spirit also regained a sliver of clarity. Her disguise of shape and appearance was broken in that moment. She transformed from a thin young man into a delicate-featured, stunning girl clad in purple, with an ethereal and vivacious aura. She too had been injured in the fray and the explosion of the spiritual artifact. Her complexion was somewhat pale, making her gorgeous face appear all the more pitiable. Such a terrifying Lockhart, goo. At this moment, Meng Xiaoquan's recognition of the horror of the Lockhart goo deepened. She hadn't laid a hand on Lu Changxing herself, merely let Ancestor Chun make his move. But watching Ancestor Chun attack Lu Changxing, the affection flooding her heart directly caused her to lose her sanity. The only thought in her mind was to die for love. Once the Lockhart goo takes effect, breaking free from it is extremely difficult. I can't continue like this. While I still have not completely lost myself, leaving Jiang country and never seeing him again is the best strategy. Moreover, this man seems to be my nemesis. At this moment, Meng Xiaochan felt nothing but fear towards Lu Changxing and harbored no ill will, only love. She no longer dared to suppress the effects of the Lockhart goo, knowing that the more she resisted, the more she suppressed, the faster she would fall. Especially when the affection surged like a tidal wave, instantly causing her to lose her reason. Moreover, having been thwarted by Lu Changxing 3 times, she had abandoned the idea of seeking revenge. The first time, she nearly lost her life and forfeited 2 Foundation establishment spiritual objects. The second time, not only did she lose the Lockhart goo, but was also backfired on by the poison goo, which almost cost her own life. Now, this third time, for the sake of Lu Changxing, she fought with Ancestor Chun and almost sacrificed her life. She dare not contemplate what the outcome would be if there were a next time. Thank you for your assistance, Daoist friend, Lu family ancestor expressed, without concern for Meng Xiaoquan's change in appearance, with a polite bow. This battle would have been impossible to win so easily without Meng Xiaoquan's help. Even if they could have taken Red Leaf Valley, he, the Lu family ancestor, would have had to fight to the death with Ancestor Chun and possibly perish here. There's no need for thanks. I assisted you all for the sake of Lu Lang, Meng Xiaochan said with a lamenting tone. Saying so, her beautiful eyes filled with longing and affection as she looked towards Red Leaf Valley at a handsome young man standing upright with a magical sword in his hand. Lu Lang, Lu family ancestor, by family ancestor, and Lu Yuanzhong were all somewhat taken aback by this address, not knowing who this Lu Lang was. Following Meng Xiaoquan's gaze, they immediately saw the 4th elder, Lu Changxing, Lu Miaoyun, and others. Lu Changxing. The moment Lu family ancestor saw the group, his eyes immediately locked onto Lu Changxing. He surmised that this Lu Lang must be Lu Changxing. This made him, a Foundation establishment ancestor, feel a surge of shock in his heart. He had always thought Lu Changxing was extraordinary, a person with grand opportunities and destiny. But this was beyond belief. Despite still being in the Qi refinement realm, an energy refinement cultivator had caught the heart of a Foundation establishment great cultivator, who now looked at him with such a lamenting gaze. And he remembered that when Lu Yuanding and the Fourth Elder reported to him about Lu Changsheng, they mentioned that Lu Changsheng liked to marry and sire children, having many wives and maids. In such circumstances, yet another Foundation establishment great cultivator had fallen for him. This Lu family ancestor didn't know what to say for a moment. Lu Changsheng. Lu Yuanzhong also followed Meng Xiaoquan's gaze, his eyes full of surprise and suspicion as he looked towards Lu Changsheng. He was not very clear about the situation with Lu Changsheng, but Meng Xiaoquan's words and eyes left him utterly bewildered. Lu Changsheng. The current situation made by family ancestor feel that something was amiss. It seemed that this Foundation establishment great cultivator wasn't arranged by the Lu family ancestor as a covert collaborator within the Qin family. It appeared to be due to a Lu family disciple. Watching Meng Xiaoquan's tender and longing gaze directed at an energy-refining cultivator, he felt almost like he was in a dream. Even though this energy-refining cultivator was indeed handsome and striking, since when did the cultivation world care so much about appearances? While the three Foundation establishment ancestors were in the midst of questioning life, Meng Xiaochan, with her dress fluttering in the wind, flew down towards Lu Changsheng in the midst of Red Leaf Valley. Chapter 237. I really didn't mean to live off a woman. _1 At this point, the killing in Red Leaf Valley was almost over. The bloodline of the Chun family's cultivators had been nearly wiped out. All that remained were cultivators with different surnames, as well as slaves and mortals. Then, following a thunderous boom that shook the heavens and earth from above Red Leaf Valley, everyone raised their heads to look at the piercing white light in the sky. As the white light gradually dissipated, the figures of the Lu family ancestor, the Bai family ancestor, and a purple-clad figure appeared. But there was no sign of Ancestor Chun. Everyone knew that Ancestor Chun was dead. From today onward, the Qin family of Red Leaf Valley would be no more. As for the previously seen thin young man, he had disappeared. Instead, there was a purple-clad girl with a stunningly beautiful face and an ethereal, elusive temperament. The crowd also guessed that this purple-clad girl was actually the thin young man in disguise. To this, they were somewhat surprised, but it also seemed inevitable. After all, just how many had heard Meng Xiaochan calling out Lu Lang? From this address, it was clear that this Lu Lang was most likely a man. One man calling another man Lu Lang might make sense, but it also seemed a bit strange. However, if it turned out to be a female cultivator, it would appear quite normal. Watching the exquisitely beautiful Meng Xiaochan in the sky, everyone thought to themselves, wondering who this Lu Lang she mentioned could be, to have captured the heart of a Foundation establishment great cultivator in such a way. Is it the Lu family ancestor or Yuanzhong? Members of the two families gazed at the Lu family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong in the sky, speculating in their minds. It's really her. Lu Changsheng, looking at the purple-clad girl in the sky, thought to himself that it was as he had guessed. He knew he had guessed right earlier. The thin young man from just now was the same purple dress girl who had placed the goo on him back then. Although the girl in the purple dress had a pretty face which was only considerately beautiful and varied greatly from the current exquisitely beautiful features and the ethereal, elusive temperament, the contours of her eyebrows and eyes, together with her current attire, allowed Lu Changsheng to see a resemblance. He was 100% certain that the two were the same person. Does this mean that the Lu Lang she called out was me? Did she suddenly attack Ancestor Chun just now because of me? Because Ancestor Chun attacked me? Lu Changsheng pondered to himself. He felt he had mostly figured out the cause and effect, and his confusion was clearing. But then, Lu Changsheng's thoughts halted, and another question came to mind. Under these circumstances, she wouldn't come over and greet me, would she? This thought made Lu Changsheng suddenly feel a bit panicked. If she were to come over and greet him in front of this crowd and call out Lu Lang again, wouldn't he be exposed? He would draw attention and be remembered. However, no sooner had the thought crossed his mind than Lu Changsheng saw Meng Xiaochuan, in her purple dress, drifting down from the sky towards him. Damn it! Lu Changsheng couldn't help but curse internally. This was really setting him up. Under the gaze of everyone present, Meng Xiaochuan approached Lu Changsheng. Her delicate face was slightly pale from the recent battle. Her eyes, full of sorrow and apology, looked at Lu Changsheng. Then, with a voice mellifluous and shy, she said, "Lu Lang." Hiss, hiss, hiss. At that moment, everyone around was shocked, stunned, taken aback. The fourth elder was stunned. Lu Miaoyun was stunned. Lu Yuanding was stunned. Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan were also stunned. Just a moment ago, they were speculating how deeply the Lu family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong were hiding their true strength, having even kept a foundation establishment great cultivator as a spy within the Qin family. But never in their wildest dreams had they imagined that this foundation establishment great cultivator's Lu Lang was actually Lu Changsheng. Lu Changsheng, who was outside, actually knew such a foundation establishment great cultivator. And at that moment, this ethereal and fairy-like great cultivator looked tenderly at Lu Changsheng with a voice as soft as water, calling out Lu Lang. From their tone, everyone in the moment heard endless sorrow and affection, which caused everyone to gasp in unison. Sigh. Lu Changsheng sighed inwardly. He could clearly feel that at this moment, countless eyes filled with shock, surprise, doubt, admiration, and respect were fixed on him. He knew he could no longer keep a low profile. "Miss, glad to see you're unharmed." Lu Changsheng, looking at Meng Xiaochuan before him, said somewhat awkwardly. While speaking, he stealthily slid his hand into his sleeve, clutching the golden light brick talisman treasure. Although he suspected that she had fallen in love with him due to the backlash of the affection goo, the underlying reasons and effects were mostly his own speculations. He was still unclear about the exact effects of this love goo. He didn't know if she would still try to harm him. After all, their first two encounters had not been very pleasant. Lu Changsheng also found it too much of a coincidence that Ancestor Chun had suddenly attacked him, and he suspected it might be related to her. This made him extremely cautious. Nevertheless, considering he had the profound origin bead on him, he was still quite confident when facing the current Meng Xiaochuan. If Lu Lang recognized me, yet was unwilling to meet, how could I be unharmed? Meng Xiaoquan's delicate lips curved slightly, and her starry eyes full of sorrow spoke. It was as though she was looking at a heartless lover. Hearing this, Lu Changsheng watched her sorrowful expression and twitched in annoyance. "Big sister, we've only met 3 times in total. I don't even know your name." He thought to himself that this affection goo was far too domineering. Ever since the goo backlash, he hadn't seen her, and now upon meeting her, she was like this. He was relieved that he had the peach blossom goo, or he would have been in the same state. Just the thought gave Lu Changsheng shivers. Hiss, 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 and at this moment everyone around him gasped again. Chapter 238. I really didn't mean to live off a woman. If it wasn't for fear of speaking loudly and disturbing this foundation establishment great cultivator, who might be addressed reverently, they surely would have given their opinion and said that Lu Changsheng did not recognize what was good for him. Even more extreme, some directly plopped to their knees. They felt that at this time, they should be kneeling to listen to how Lu Changsheng would reply. Not just them, but also the 3 ancestors high in the sky were stunned. Just now, when they learned that the foundation establishment great cultivator's Lu Lang was Lu Changsheng, they were too shocked to speak. But now, seeing this foundation establishment great cultivator show such a demure daughterly attitude in front of Lu Changsheng felt even more like a dream. This Lu Changsheng, what kind of charm does he possess? To actually make a foundation establishment great cultivator display such an attitude. One must know that in the cultivation world, There are far fewer female cultivators than male cultivators. And as the cultivation realm increases, the disparity between the number of males to females becomes even more severe. Hence, in such a situation, female cultivators with beautiful looks and profound cultivation levels are especially popular. Most female cultivators would have several, or even dozens of suitors. Yet at this moment, a foundation establishment great cultivator resembling an immortal was showing such an attitude to an energy refining cultivator. It truly made them question life itself. They felt as if the decades or centuries they'd lived had been in vain. Only at this moment did they truly educate their eyes. Seeing that Lu Changsheng did not speak, Meng Xiaochan sighed softly. She spoke to herself. Xiaochan knows that Lu Lang holds a grudge against me in his heart, hence he is not willing to acknowledge me. But now, my heart towards Lu Lang is sincere. This is the gift Xiaochan prepared for Lu Lang, a token of my feelings. Please accept it, Lu Lang. Meng Xiaochan said with a melancholic sigh. She handed a storage bag to Lu Changsheng. A gift, a token of affection. Lu Changsheng eyed the storage bag before him, his gaze narrowing slightly. He felt that the other party was sincere, but the current situation, quite frankly, baffled him, and he did not know how to respond. Plop, plop, plop. Sounds of knees hitting the ground rose. One could see young cultivators from both the Lu family, and by family kneeling, looking toward Lu Changsheng. They felt that they could only kneel and learn from this level of conversation to show their respect. They did not dare to hope to be like Lu Changsheng, to have a foundation establishment, great cultivator talk, so humbly and offer gifts. They simply wished that in the future, when they had a companion to cultivate alongside, their companion would be so considerate and well-behaved, which would be more than enough to satisfy them. Does Lu Lang not want to forgive Xiaochan? Meng Xiaochan saw that Lu Changsheng wouldn't accept it, and her exquisite face showed a crestfallen sigh. Such demeanor and speech could melt even the strongest of steel. It virtually stunned and astonished everyone around. A foundation establishment great cultivator is actually fawning over Lu Changsheng like this. Not far away, Lu Miaohuan watched this scene in astonishment, biting her lip. She hadn't expected that Lu Changsheng's charm could reach such a degree. To make a foundation establishment great cultivator, who in appearance was not the slightest bit inferior to her own, act like this. This caused Lu Miaohuan to feel an intense sense of crisis in her heart. But the next moment, when she saw Lu Changsheng's indifferent attitude toward Meng Xiaochan and thought of how Lu Changsheng usually treated her, she couldn't help but puff out her chest with pride. What does it matter if she is a foundation establishment great cultivator and beautiful? But Lu Changsheng likes someone like me. Lu Miaohuan's heart leaped with joy as she found a reason to be happy. Lu Miaoga also quietly watched this unfold. She knew that Lu Changsheng had some secrets, but she had never imagined that Lu Changsheng had hidden them so deeply. She couldn't understand how Lu Changsheng had made a foundation establishment great cultivator fall for him like this. Husband, since it is the senior's goodwill, you should accept it, said Lu Miaoyan, holding Lu Changsheng's hand, speaking softly. She too was shocked by the situation before her. She never thought that the Lu Lang mentioned by the senior was actually her own husband. She was simply at a loss for words. But seeing a foundation establishment great cultivator act like this, she too wanted to show her own closeness and magnanimity. Yes, Changsheng, since it's the girl's sincere feelings, you should accept it, the fourth elder also spoke up. She hadn't expected that the Lu Lang spoken of by the foundation establishment great cultivator was actually her grandson-in-law, and to display such humility in front of her grandson-in-law. Seeing this, she was somewhat tempted to tell Lu Changsheng that he did not appreciate what was good for him. After all, usually, a foundation establishment great cultivator was an elder master that anyone would respectfully greet. But now a foundation establishment great cultivator was apologizing and making amends to Lu Changsheng, an energy refining cultivator, which made her feel that even if there was a fault, It was enough. Fine. Thank you, Miss Xiaochan. I will accept the gift, and we can put the past grievances aside, said Lu Changsheng, carefully reaching out to take the storage bag. But his heart remained vigilant, prepared to react at any moment. After all, if the other party really meant to strike at him, even with the profound origin bead at hand, a slight carelessness could still mean danger. Lu Lang is willing to forgive Chon'er. Upon hearing these words, the wistfulness disappeared from Meng Xiaoquan's eyes. Her stunningly beautiful face revealed the innocent joy of a young girl, with shallow dimples that were captivating. MHM. Lu Changxing nodded slightly. If there had been no one around, he certainly would not have nodded in agreement, as he needed to observe the effects of the goo of affection. But now, in front of such a large audience, with so many people around, it would not be good for him to say too much. Lu Lang is willing to forgive Chon'er. That's wonderful, said Meng Xiaochan, her voice filled with genuine emotion. But Chon'er has important matters to attend to and cannot stay by Lu Lang's side. Once I have attended to my affairs, I am willing to cast aside all vanities to boil soup and cook meals for Lu Lang, and spend the rest of our lives together. Having said that, with eyes full of reluctance, she rose gracefully into the air and turned into a beam of escape light, leaving. Phew! Seeing Meng Xiaochan depart, Lu Changsheng also exhaled a breath of relief. Chapter 239. I really didn't mean to live off a woman. With the backlash from the love goo, I felt that the other party truly bore no malice toward me. If we meet again in the future, I could try to learn more about the situation with this goo worm. Changsheng, can I learn from you? At this moment, a Lu family disciple looked up to Lu Changsheng as if on a pilgrimage. Brother Changsheng, you are indeed a role model for our generation. Does this count as being kept by a woman? Well, being kept by a woman, this is eating soft rice with gusto. Indeed, the most devoted lover of Qingzhou Mountain. Ah, I thought I had been through thousands of flowers without a single leaf touching me, a master of love. Only today did I realize how vast the world is. The most ruthless should be that Sister Miaoyun from the Miaoyun clan is right beside him, shouldn't it? I can't learn this. I can't learn this. Just now I didn't dare to miss a single moment, waiting eagerly for Lu Changxing to speak, and in the end, he said nothing. Silence is more eloquent than words. Just this move is enough for us to ponder for a lifetime. Once Meng Xiaochan left, many Lu family disciples dared to voice their discussions. The situation had just about suffocated them. Many by family cultivators also deeply remembered this scene today, as well as the name Lu Changsheng. I really didn't intend to live off a woman's support. Watching the gazes around him, Lu Changsheng reluctantly thought to himself as people approached him for guidance. He felt like he had become someone living off a woman in everyone's eyes. Cough, cough. At that moment, the Lu family ancestor descended from the sky, coughing lightly twice, signaling everyone to quiet down and disperse. Lu Changsheng, what's the matter with you and the fellow cultivator from before? The Lu family ancestor also inquired of Lu Changsheng. The recent event had truly dumbfounded him. He was immensely shocked inside. Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing pondered for a moment. Later, with a bitter smile, he said, Ancestor, I encountered her severely injured on my way to the Nine Dragons Market, and I saved her life. After that, she invited me to explore a cave mansion, where some things happened, Lu Changsheng vaguely stated. After all, he didn't have any way to explain such matters, so he could only make up a story. As for whether they believed him or not, that was no longer his concern. I see. Changsheng, we owe you a great deal this time. Rest assured, we will reward you for your service and credit you with the highest merit, the Lu family ancestor said in a mild tone. Everyone had their own chance encounters and secrets. It would be embarrassing for him to pry further. He only knew that if it weren't for Lu Changsheng knowing this foundation establishment great cultivator today, the Lu family would have been in trouble. Moreover, as long as Lu Changsheng stayed with the Lu family, relying on his relationship with this foundation establishment great cultivator, they would have an additional deterrence against others. Thank you, ancestor. Lu Changsheng slightly bowed and said, Okay, you all rest here and stay vigilant, said the Lu family ancestor, not saying much more. He then began the task of cleaning up Red Leaf Valley with the others. Yuner, I didn't mean to keep this from you, Lu Changsheng said to his wife Lu Miaoyun, feeling the need to explain. It's okay, husband, as long as you have Yuner in your heart, Lu Miaoyun replied softly, shaking her head. She had long come to terms with Lu Changsheng's situation regarding wives and concubines. Now, seeing a foundation building great cultivator falling for her husband, it was false to say she didn't feel threatened. But at the same time, she also felt a sense of achievement in her heart. She thought it was well-deserved that it was her husband. Changsheng, did you also get your second-rank talisman in that cave mansion? At that moment, the fourth elder asked. Yes, Granny. The elixir medicines I used to save Sister Miaoga and these few second-rank talismans were gained from that adventure in the cave mansion, Lu Changsheng explained. Right away, he attributed some of his chance encounters to Meng Xiaochan. Hearing this, the fourth elder did not continue to question further. Allowing Lu Changsheng to rest here, she went about her business, beginning to tally the spoils and collect the resources of the Qin family. Dusk dimmed. The setting sun was like blood, mirroring the Crimson Valley, hugely beautiful. As the sun set, the people from the Lu and Bai families felt heartily content. A sense of peaceful beauty filled the air. The cultivators from the Qin family turned into angry and desperate, ghastly heads filled with rage and despair. The upper echelons of the Lu and Bai families were organizing the situation in Red Leaf Valley. Lu Changsheng was chatting with his wife, Lu Miaoyun, on the side. Lu Miaowan had brought her sister Lu Miaoga over to join in the fun as well. However, it was only Lu Miaowan speaking the entire time, chirping questions nonstop. Lu Miaoga sat quietly on the side, a picture of serene beauty. At that moment, HM, whose spirit boat is that? Be careful, on guard. Someone looked to the sky and shouted loudly. Lu Changsheng raised his head. He immediately saw a spirit boat hurtling towards them, stopping above Red Leaf Valley. Right after, 3 cultivators descended from the flying boat. An elderly man with gray hair and a black robe. A middle-aged man around 40, with an imposing face and dressed in a blue-green robe. And a young man in a crimson brocade robe. The elderly man in the black robe and the man in the blue robe emitted a terrifying aura and pressure. 2 foundation establishment great cultivators. Noticing these 3, Lu Changsheng could tell, aside from the young man in the crimson robe, the other 2 were foundation establishment great cultivators. The young man in the crimson robe looks dressed like a Chun family member from Red Leaf Valley. As for these 2, could they be the Wugong Ridge Zheng family ancestor and the Bai Lake Mountain Foundation establishment great cultivator? Lu Changsheng thought to himself. The nearby major cultivation families all had their own family colors. Qingzhou Mountain was known for its green, with clothes often featuring bamboo and bamboo leaf patterns. The Qin family of Red Leaf Valley was known for their red color, whereas Wugong Ridge's Zheng family was black, and by Lake Mountain's Yu family was blue-green. Therefore, seeing the sudden appearance of these 3 people through their clothing and appearance, Lu Changsheng made a guess about their identities. Chapter 240. I really didn't mean to live off a woman. _4 After all, there are only so many major cultivation families around. Now that the Lu family and the Bai family have made a move against the Chun family, the Yu family and the Zheng family are unlikely to just sit by and watch. Once the Lu family and the Bai family swallow up the Chun family's cultivation resources and gain Red Leaf Valley as a spiritual land, they will be able to develop rapidly. By then, the birth of new foundation building great cultivators will pose a threat to those around them. Beforehand, The Liu family had anticipated the possibility of the Wugong Ridge Zheng family getting involved, hence the need for swift action. If this man in blue robes really is from the Bai Lake Mountain Yu family, it seems that the Yu family has also been paying attention to the affairs between the Liu family and the Chun family, hoping to get a slice of the pie. Liu Changsheng contemplated in his heart, thinking of the earlier matter when the third young master of the Yu family had come to recruit him. He felt it was quite normal for the Yu family to want to intervene. Just now, both the Liu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor were injured, and with the Yu family having two foundation-building great cultivators, plus the Zheng family ancestor, that makes three foundation-building great cultivators. It's hard to say how this matter will be resolved. Liu Changsheng sighed internally. He knew it wouldn't be easy for the Liu family to take down the Chun family. Before he could think further, he saw three streaks of rainbow light flying out from the depths of Red Leaf Valley. They were the Liu family ancestor, Bai family ancestor, and Liu Yuanzhong, who were in the process of cleaning up the Chun family. Greetings to Liu Daoist, Zheng Daoist. May I ask why the two esteemed Daoists have come here? The Liu family ancestor said to the man in blue robes and the man in black robes. The Bai family ancestor and Liu Yuanzhong also looked at the two with disfavor, vaguely guessing the purpose of their visit. This old ancestor came here at the invitation of Patriarch Chun to visit Red Leaf Valley, the Zheng family ancestor in black robes replied, looking at the three of them. He was inwardly shocked. He had received a call for help from the Chun family, learning that the Liu family had given birth to a new foundation establishment great cultivator and had joined forces with the Bai family to attack Red Leaf Valley. To his surprise, the Chun family had fallen so quickly. He couldn't help but feel fortunate to have encountered the patriarch of the Yu family on the way. Otherwise, coming here alone would have been dangerous. Liu Daoist, a few days ago, Patriarch Chun sent young Master Chun to our Bai Lake Mountain, stating that the Chun family is willing to become a vassal of our Yu family. So, I have come here with young Master Chun, intending to discuss this matter in detail with the Chun family. What are you doing here in Red Leaf Valley? The patriarch of the Yu family said calmly to the Liu family ancestor and his group. He was also surprised that the Chun family had already fallen, and that both the Liu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor were still alive. He had received news of the Liu family and Bai family joining forces to attack the Chun family. He had initially thought that this battle would at least result in the demise of both the Liu family ancestor and Patriarch Chun, with the Bai family ancestor seriously injured. Then their Yu family could reap the benefits of the fishermen. But unexpectedly, both the Liu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor in front of him were not dead. They were only injured with their aura in disarray. Visiting becoming vassals. The Liu family ancestor, Bai family ancestor, and Liu Yuanzhong's faces all darkened upon hearing this. It was clear to them why the Yu family and Zheng family had come. The Chun family of Red Leaf Valley and our Liu family are mortal enemies. With my impending death, I wish to settle the grudge between our families before I pass. What? Do you Liu Daoist and Zheng Daoist plan to interfere? The Liu family ancestor spoke, no longer courteous, and said coldly. He was prepared to die, and after uniting with the Bai family and spending a massive amount of resources, they had finally annihilated the Chun family. Now that the Yu family and Zheng family had come, they expected him to spit out the meat that was already in his mouth, as if such an easy thing existed in the world. Even if the Yu family was much stronger than their Liu family, with two foundation establishment great cultivators, their Liu family was not to be trifled with. The words of Liu Daoist are incorrect. We of the Yu family naturally would not intervene in the grudges between your Liu family and the Chun family. But since Patriarch Chun has expressed his wish for the Chun family to become a vassal of our Yu family, this is a matter we have to care about. The patriarch of the Yu family stated with a serious expression. You say that the Chun family, having become a vassal of your Yu family, makes it your vassal? Now that old Ghost Chun is dead, why not let him speak for himself? Bai family ancestor also snorted coldly. Clearly, the opposite party was setting up a clear opportunity for plundering in the wake of disaster, and he naturally was not in a mood to converse nicely. Young Master Chun, please explain the situation to the two Taoists. The patriarch of the Yu family turned and instructed the young Master Chun in a crimson brocade robe beside him. Indeed, my Chun family has decided to become vassals of By Lake Mountain's Yu family. Therefore, this Red Leaf Valley also belongs to the Yu family, young Master Chun said, looking towards Red Leaf Valley before speaking with eyes full of hatred. Who are these mongrels, presuming to speak for the Chun family? There is no longer a Red Leaf Valley Chun family. The Lu family ancestor said coldly, taking action at once. He launched a man-filled longsword towards young Master Chun. Bang! With a gesture, the patriarch of the Yu family broke the man-filled longsword. Then he spoke indifferently. Lu Taoist, if that's how it's going to be, are you saying you wish to be at odds with my By Lake Mountain? Quite at odds indeed. The Lu family ancestor chuckled derisively and said, in ordinary times, my Lu family might indeed fear your Yu family by 3 points. But this old man doesn't have much time left, and before death, I'd like to recklessly challenge Lu Taoist's divine skills. While speaking, he turned his gaze towards the Zheng family ancestor and said, Old Ghost Zheng, do you intend to meddle in this matter? The Lu family ancestor spoke calmly, but his eyes carried a fierce and ruthless menace. To grow into a foundation establishment ancestor was not merely a matter of talent or meditation cultivation. He had also experienced countless bloodbaths. It was only as he aged and became an ancestor that he began to cultivate his temperament and nature. I have no intention of meddling, the Zheng family ancestor said with a smile. But the Qin family once owed my Zheng family a debt of resources. Now that your Lu family and the Bai family have destroyed the Chun family, to whom should I turn for that debt? After all, you know the situation of my Zheng family, Taoist Lu. Absorbing the Qin family, you wouldn't miss that bit of resources, would you? Said the Zheng family ancestor. Naturally, he could see that both the Lu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor were injured, but he did not wish to conflict with either of them. After all, if a foundation establishment cultivator truly fought with all their might, it may not end in death, but significant injuries would likely result. Moreover, aside from a Lu family ancestor, there were also the Bai family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong, the latter being a newly advanced foundation establishment cultivator, present. Yet he couldn't just walk away without a share of benefits. Lu Taoist may indeed bargain for a few moves without issue. But our Golden Sun ancestor is also on his way here. Do you really think you can defeat me? Said the patriarch of the Yu family as he unleashed a crimson-yellow wheel and an ice-blue crescent wheel from his sleeve, readying for battle. Spiritual light surged around him, and he exuded an incredibly fierce spiritual pressure and bravery. Golden Sun ancestor. Upon hearing this name, the Lu family ancestor, the Bai family ancestor, and Lu Yuanzhong all narrowed their eyes, aware of the formidability of this Golden Sun ancestor. And their current state left them with no confidence of capturing the patriarch of the Yu family alive. Besides, there was also the Zheng family ancestor nearby. It seems that your Yu family has resolved to be the fisherman who benefits from the quarrel, said the Lu family ancestor. But aren't you curious, Patriarch Yu, as to how our two families managed to breach the Chun family so swiftly? He continued. Upon hearing this, both the patriarch of the Yu family and the Zheng family ancestor were visibly taken aback. Inside Red Leaf Valley, is a fight about to break out? Lu Changsheng mused as he watched from below the tense standoff above, with the patriarch of the Yu family summoning his spiritual artifacts and showing a ferocious stance. But the very next moment, he saw the patriarch of the Yu family's crimson-yellow wheel turn, unleashing a wave of crimson and yellow flames that swept over and instantly reduced the nearby young Master Chun to ash. Right after, 5 foundation-building great cultivators ascended to board the spirit boat in the sky. What's this? Could it be that they've negotiated a truce? Lu Changsheng furrowed his brow in curiosity. He hadn't expected that one moment there seemed to be an impending clash, and the next, they ceased hostilities killed that Chun family youth in the red robe, and together boarded the spirit boat. If these two really are Foundation establishment great cultivators from Bai Lake Mountain and the Zheng family of Wugong Ridge, then the Liu family and Bai family will have to concede some benefits this time. After all, it's not just about seizing territory, but also being able to hold it. Only when you have the strength to defend and gain recognition from the surrounding area can you truly take possession. Otherwise, as the saying goes, lose the people and you lose the land. Lu Changsheng thought to himself. Although the Liu family and the Bai family had taken down Red Leaf Valley and killed Ancestor Chun, they had yet to take full control of the valley. Moreover, both the Liu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor were not in the best condition, and Liu Yuanzhong had just reached Foundation establishment. Under these circumstances, it would indeed be difficult to hold Red Leaf Valley against the Yu family and the Zheng family. If the conflict were to escalate, his survival would become all the more precarious. I hope for a peaceful resolution, Lu Changsheng silently wished. He hoped that the families would maintain peace and stability, allowing him time to grow and develop quietly. From the earlier battle where Meng Xiaochan, the Liu family ancestor, and the Bai family ancestor teamed up against Ancestor Chun, he realized that killing a Foundation establishment great cultivator was still a daunting task. With the help of a second-rank puppet, a talisman treasure, and the treasure bone technique, he could defeat a Foundation establishment great cultivator, but if the opponent fought desperately and used all their methods, he too would get injured. Though he had life-substituting talismans and was not overly worried, at this stage, Lu Changxing still preferred to avoid encounters with great cultivators of Foundation establishment. He simply desired steady growth, secretly advancing all the way to Foundation establishment. Chapter 241, Foundation Establishment, Sorted, _1. How come two Foundation Establishment great cultivators suddenly came here? That black-robed elder must be the ancestor of the Wugong Ridge Zheng family, right? That should be the case. As for the other one, if nothing unexpected has happened, it should be the Foundation Establishment ancestor from the Yu family of Bai Lake Mountain. Why would the Yu family of Bai Lake Mountain be together with the Zheng family of Wugong Ridge? They must have seen us conquer Red Leaf Valley, so they want to get a piece of the action. Exactly, just now from the looks of it, they were almost going to make a move. Now that our two families have just taken down Red Leaf Valley, the Yu family and Zheng family have sent people. It's obvious they want to take advantage of the situation. Inside Red Leaf Valley, many of the Liu family and Bai family cultivators looked at the scene in the sky, guessing the intentions of these two Foundation establishment great cultivators, and couldn't help but become filled with righteous indignation. Today, their two families had finally taken down Red Leaf Valley and were about to enjoy the fruits of victory. But now, before they could even pick and enjoy the fruits, the Yu family and Zheng family had Foundation establishment great cultivators arriving. Clearly, they wanted to snatch away the fruits of victory. Naturally, this made everyone very unhappy. Even if they were unhappy, everyone only dared to discuss it quietly. Lu Changsheng, thanks to you knowing that Foundation establishment great cultivator, or else today we might have really been taken advantage of in the chaos, said Lu Miaowan, also speaking up indignantly. Obviously, she was very upset about the two Foundation establishment great cultivators coming to take advantage of the situation. Right, Lu Changsheng, what's inside the gift that Foundation establishment great cultivator gave you? Lu Miaohuan continued, with no hint of her initial aloofness, chatting away like a chatterbox with a curious look on her face. Just some spirit stones and cultivation resources, Lu Changxing replied casually. He hadn't yet carefully checked the gift that Meng Xiaochan had given him, had only taken a quick glance at it. He saw that the storage bag was filled with a bunch of spirit stones, along with 2 porcelain bottles and a jade box. Cultivation resources? Upon hearing this, Lu Miaohuan didn't ask any further. She went on to say, when we return this time, the family will hold a ceremony to honor our contributions, and you'll definitely be greatly rewarded. Then you won't be lacking cultivation resources. I suppose so. Lu Changsheng wasn't very concerned about the reward. After all, with his talisman making skills and occasionally earning a side income, he wasn't lacking cultivation resources. If there was anything he was lacking, it would be a foundation establishment elixir. But it was clear that the Lu family didn't have a foundation establishment elixir. Even if they did have one, they wouldn't give him a foundation establishment elixir as a reward. Looking at the chattering second miss in front of him, Lu Changsheng raised an eyebrow and said, "Second miss, what if I don't ask for any resources as a reward, but instead ask the family head for an engagement? What do you think he would agree to?" Ah! Lu Miaohuan gasped in surprise upon hearing this, subconsciously thinking that Lu Changsheng was considering asking Lu Yuanding for her hand in marriage. A wave of shyness overcame her, leaving her mind completely blank. Her delicate face, fair as white jade, instantly turned a heated red. "How would I know such a thing?" Lu Miaohuan cried out, her cheeks burning with embarrassment as she shouted loudly. Then she quickly stood up and left, stirring up a fragrant breeze. Is she that easily embarrassed? Lu Changsheng watched as Lu Miaohuan, graceful and flustered, hurried away, shaking his head with a smile. He found that teasing the second miss was quite amusing, especially since she often appeared cold and noble, but in reality was quite susceptible to teasing. Just a little teasing would make her shy and flushed, far too interesting. But his words weren't entirely for the sake of teasing Lu Miaohuan. He indeed had this thought, but not about asking Lu Yuanding for an engagement to marry Lu Miaohuan. Rather, it was about asking Lu Yuanding for an engagement to marry Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan together. After all, his relationships with both sisters had reached this point, so it was time to clarify things. Quietly seated by his side, Lu Miaoge was also slightly startled when Lu Changsheng asked that question, and she lightly pursed her lips. After seeing her sister blush and flee, she sighed softly. Then, with a serene expression and a gentle tone, she said, "I'm going to check on Huan Huan." "Sister Miaoge." Lu Changsheng called out to Lu Miaoge. "What is it?" Lu Miaoge turned to look at Lu Changsheng, her expression calm, but her eyes, deep as autumn waters, revealed a hint of panic. "Sister Miaoge, if I asked the family head for an engagement, would you be willing to marry me?" Lu Changsheng asked her through a transmission. He felt that Lu Miaoge's mindset was such that she would struggle to get over her own reservations, especially since the relationship he had with Lu Miaohuan would likely increase the tension for Lu Miaoge. So Lu Changsheng thought that he needed to be more proactive with Lu Miaoge. "It's okay, Sister Miaoge. You can give me an answer later." Seeing that Lu Miaoge was pursing her lips without speaking, Lu Changsheng didn't press her and said so. He knew such matters couldn't be rushed. He needed to give the other person some time to think it over. MHM. Then Lu Miaoge nodded slightly, giving a simple acknowledgement, and left with a heart in turmoil. "Husband, when you ask Uncle Yuanding for engagement, is it to propose to Sister Miaohuan or Sister Miaoge? Or do you intend to marry both Sister Miaoge and Sister Miaohuan together?" Lu Miaoyun asked, pouting towards Lu Changsheng with a hint of jealousy in her teasing voice. Lu Changsheng felt a bit awkward being teased by his wife, and he unconsciously touched his nose. After all, there he was, flirting with other women while his wife was by his side. And those women were his wife's sisters. Even though Lu Miaoyun had previously brought up the topic, it was still somewhat embarrassing for him. "I think Sister Miaohuan has long harbored deep feelings for you, my husband. If you ask Uncle Yuanding for her hand in marriage, I'm sure he'd agree," she said. "But if you, my husband, ask Uncle Yuanding for an engagement, intending to marry both Sister Miaoge and Sister Miaohuan at the same time, that might be a bit difficult." Chapter 242. Foundation Establishment Sorted. Lu Miaoyun looked at her husband in this state and tilted her head adorably as she said, "Yuner feels wronged." Lu Changsheng didn't care about his wife's jesting and gently embraced her, whispering softly, "Husband." Lu Miaoyun hugged Lu Changsheng, resting her head against his chest. She indeed had come to terms with Lu Changsheng taking more wives and concubines. But to say she felt no grievance at all was certainly impossible. Or rather, when Lu Changsheng had only bought some maids, she didn't mind. But if Lu Changsheng truly married Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaowan, it was certain that neither woman would become a concubine. Under such circumstances, she would inevitably feel somewhat jealous as his wife. If husband really wishes to marry Sister Miaoge and Sister Miaowan, he could ask the family ancestor to grant the marriages, Lu Miaoyun said softly as she snuggled against Lu Changsheng's chest. Though she felt a little jealous, considering that even a foundation-building great cultivator behaved that way towards her husband, who knew whether her husband would marry other women in the future. Rather than that, it was better for her husband to marry her sisters instead. At least they were family, well-acquainted, and capable of living together harmoniously. Yuner. Lu Changsheng was even more remorseful hearing his dear wife giving him advice at this time. He made up his mind that he must properly compensate Lu Miaoyun in the future. Night fell. Changsheng, Yuner, come back with me. The busy fourth elder and two family elders prepared to steer the flying boat, taking some of the disciples and the wounded back to Qingzhou Mountain first. Hearing this, Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoyun promptly boarded the flying boat, returning with the fourth elder. After all, there was nothing left for them to do in Red Leaf Valley. It was better to return and rest sooner. Grandmother, are those two foundation establishment great cultivators from Bai Lake Mountain Yu family and Wugong Ridge Zheng family? Once the flying boat set off, Lu Changsheng asked the fourth elder. Although he had already guessed that the two foundation establishment cultivators were from the Yu and Zheng families, he still wanted to confirm it with the fourth elder to understand the current situation. Yes, those two foundation establishment cultivators are indeed Bai Lake Mountain Yu family's foundation establishment ancestor and the Zheng family ancestor from Wugong Ridge. The fourth elder nodded and said, "The Yu family has wolfish ambitions. We had already noticed the Yu family's interference during the disputes between the Lu and Qin families. Now it seems many incidents from back then cannot be separated from the Yu family. Changsheng, we were fortunate to have you this time, prompting Elder Meng to help us out. Otherwise, we would have truly let the Yu family profit from our misfortune." The fourth elder continued, with a tone mix of indignation and relief. She was very clear. If it hadn't been for Meng Zioakan's intervention, allowing the Lu and Bai families to quickly break the Great Formation and the two family ancestors only suffering injuries, today they would have most certainly fallen victim to the Yu family's ploy. The Yu family, Lu Changsheng muttered, nodding slightly. He thought of the time when the third young master of the Yu family had tried to recruit him, and the incident where Lu Miaoge was attacked by 4 robber cultivators, as well as his and the second elder's encounter with an ambush on the way back. At that time, he had obtained a Yu family token from the 3 robber cultivators and felt that the attackers were sent by the Yu family, yet he was not certain. Now, hearing the words of the fourth elder, he knew in all likelihood it was the Yu family's doing, aimed at weakening the Lu family's power, as well as deepening the animosity and friction between the Lu and Chun families, so they could profit from it. "Grandmother, what's the situation now?" Lu Changsheng continued to ask. The Yu family, though tyrannical and overbearing, does not wish to completely fall out with our Lu and Bai families and come to blows, but this matter won't just end peacefully. The current situation involves our Lu and Bai families conceding some interest to the Yu family. As for the specifics, grandmother is not clear. We must wait for the family ancestor to make a decision, the fourth elder explained. Hearing this, Lu Changsheng nodded in understanding. He realized that's how the matter was settled. What followed would be the division of interests. While the Lu family has 2 foundation establishment cultivators, our overall strength is far inferior to that of the Yu family. Now, the Lu family ancestor doesn't have much time left, but the Yu family's 2 foundation establishment cultivators have quite a few years ahead of them. Previously, the third young master of the Yu family mentioned that within 10 years, the Yu family would have a 3rd foundation establishment cultivator if they really do produce a 3rd foundation establishment cultivator. I'm afraid the Lu, Bai, and Zheng families would have to form an alliance. Lu Changsheng couldn't help but think to himself. He felt if the Yu family truly produced a third foundation establishment cultivator, there would likely be no peace, and it wouldn't be so easy for him to lie low as he wished. I still need to achieve foundation establishment sooner to truly gain a foothold. If the Yu family really causes trouble later on and affects my development, I might as well use the Book of Malevolent Curses and Fates against them, Lu Changsheng pondered. Changsheng, can you still contact that Elder Meng? At that moment, the fourth elder asked Lu Changsheng. Grandmother, I did not keep a contact method with Miss Xiaochan. Lu Changsheng shook his head slightly, understanding that probably the fourth elder wanted him to invite Meng Xiaochan to stand by and deter others, giving the Lu family more confidence and weight in the upcoming hearings and profit distribution. But he truly didn't have any way to contact Meng Xiaochan. No matter, grandmother was just asking. The fourth elder responded with a slight nod, without further comment. She could tell there was something unusual about the relationship between Lu Changsheng and that foundation establishment great cultivator. It was only because of the current situation of the Lu family that she had asked, hoping that through Meng Xiaochan, a foundation establishment great cultivator, the Lu family could alleviate some of the pressure. After all, the upcoming division of interests was simply a matter of strength. Under the full-speed flight of the spirit boat. Chapter 243, Foundation Establishment Sorted. 8 hours later, they returned to Qingzhou Mountain. Under the pitch-dark night, the entire Qingzhou Mountain emitted a faint spiritual light. It looked like it was draped in a layer of green gauze, solemn and mystical. Lu Changsheng could tell that this effect was due to the activation of Qingzhou Mountain's Great Formation to a certain extent. Keeping the Great Formation active must have consumed a considerable amount of energy. The clan elders guarding Qingzhou Mountain saw that it was fourth elder and the others, and they immediately opened part of the formation to inquire about the frontline situation. Upon learning that the Lu family and Bai family had successfully taken Red Leaf Valley, they were overjoyed and welcomed everyone inside. Changsheng Yaoyan, you have also worked hard all day. Go back and rest early. After entering Qingzhou Valley, fourth elder said to Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoyan, she still needed to arrange treatment for the wounded with the other elders. This battle had resulted in quite a few of the Lu family disciples sustaining injuries that required treatment. Grandma, you should rest early too. Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoyan nodded in agreement. They immediately went back to rest. There were still lights on in the house. Chu Jinjin and a few maidservants had not yet rested, obviously worried about them. Seeing Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoyan return, they immediately felt relieved. It's all right now, go to sleep early. Lu Changsheng wrapped his arms around his beloved wives and returned to their room to rest. He did not overexert himself. After such a busy day, although he was not tired, Miaoyan clearly seemed exhausted. The next day, Lu Changsheng woke up and, after showing affection to his wives, proceeded to the study. He took out the storage bag that Meng Xiaochan had given him the day before. He checked to see what was inside. In an instant, a pile of spirit stones appeared in the room. Lu Changsheng counted them, and there were a total of 2,000. He then turned his attention to the white jade porcelain vase and the white jade brocade box in the storage bag. It was clear that these jade porcelain vases and brocade boxes were used to hold more valuable elixir medicines and treasures. Out of caution, Lu Changsheng took out his second-rank puppet. Then he stood aside, letting the puppet open the porcelain vase and the jade box. Seeing the vase and the box open safely without incident, Lu Changsheng knew he had been overthinking. Is this blood spirit Ganoderma? Lu Changsheng's eyes narrowed slightly. He immediately saw in the jade box a Ganoderma the size of a baby's arm, enveloped in a mist of red, a blood-colored Ganoderma. He recognized the Ganoderma immediately. Having read widely, he knew that this Ganoderma, like the blood sun fruit he had acquired from Xiaolong, was a foundation establishment spirit object. It was helpful for challenging the blood and energy barrier among the 3 barriers of Foundation establishment. Is this because I had previously obtained from her Foundation establishment spirit objects for the mana barrier and the divine sense barrier, but lacked one for the blood and energy barrier? So she specifically brought this to me? Lu Changsheng looked at the blood spirit Ganoderma in front of him, somewhat surprised. He hadn't expected the other party to actually bring him a Foundation establishment spirit object. Although he already had a spirit object for breaking through the blood and energy barrier, and during Foundation establishment, one could only use one of each type of Foundation establishment spirit object at most, nobody would complain about having too many such objects. Not to mention keeping it for his children's use. Selling it could at least fetch 3,000 spirit stones. Seeing the blood spirit Ganoderma, Lu Changsheng was more anticipative of the contents within the 2 porcelain vases. He closed the jade box and looked inside the porcelain vases. What's this? Lu Changsheng looked at the elixir medicines in the porcelain vase, his pupils contracting sharply, hardly able to believe it. He then poured the crystal-clear elixir medicines from the vase into his hand to examine them carefully. A moment later, it really is a Foundation establishment elixir, and there are 2 of them. Lu Changsheng, looking at the 2 elixir medicines in his hand, took a deep breath and exhaled slowly. For a time, he didn't know what to say. He had been wondering where he would find a Foundation establishment elixir for his own breakthrough. But unexpectedly, Meng Xiaochan had directly delivered them to him now, and she had given him not 1, but 2. This Foundation establishment elixir has a dark color. It looks to be a substandard product that would result in some elixir toxicity and have a somewhat lower efficacy. But this one is a genuine, high-quality Foundation establishment elixir. Lu Changsheng looked at the 2 Foundation establishment elixirs in his hand and again did not know what to say. Initially, he had held some grudges against Meng Xiaochan in his heart, thinking that he would seek revenge when they met in the future. But now, seeing these 2 Foundation establishment elixirs, Lu Changsheng felt that the animosity between them could be considered settled. With these 2 Foundation establishment elixirs, I don't have to worry about finding one anymore. There's no need to devise a way to acquire them. Next, I just need to stay safe and cultivate until I reach the perfection of Qi refinement. Then I can directly attack Foundation establishment. Lu Changsheng felt excited in his heart. He had originally felt that he had a 50 to 60% chance of successfully reaching Foundation establishment. Now that his spiritual root had improved to middle grade, and he had Foundation establishment elixirs to assist him, Lu Changsheng felt confident his Foundation establishment was in the bag. However, where did she get these Foundation establishment elixirs from? To be able to give away 2 at once? No, she has also achieved Foundation establishment, which means she had at least 3 Foundation establishment elixirs. At that moment, Lu Changsheng was somewhat astonished by Meng Xiaoqian's wealth. She seemed like a truly rich woman. The first time they met, he had obtained 2 Foundation establishment spirit objects from her. The second time they met, he received a goo insect, and Meng Xiaochan fell in love with him. Now on their 3rd encounter, she had brought him gifts. Not just 2,000 spirit stones, 1 Foundation establishment spirit object, but also 2 Foundation establishment elixirs. If Foundation establishment spirit objects can be considered rare treasures, then Foundation establishment elixirs are priceless commodities. Even the inferior Foundation establishment elixir among the 2 could fetch tens of thousands of spirit stones if sold, desired by countless people. 3 Foundation establishment elixirs, just like that. Could it be that she acquired the materials to refine them in the Purple Shadow secret realm? Lu Changsheng speculated in his heart. After all, besides the Purple Shadow secret realm, a loose cultivator hardly has any means to obtain Foundation establishment elixirs. Considering Meng Xiaoqian's capabilities, it would be normal for her to make some gains in the Purple Shadow secret realm. Still, before Foundation establishment, I must not reveal this substandard Foundation establishment elixir, or it'll surely attract unwanted attention. Lu Changsheng placed the 2 Foundation establishment elixirs back in the porcelain vase and stored them in a storage bag. He resolved not to expose the Foundation establishment elixirs until he made his breakthrough to Foundation establishment. It's difficult for a loose cultivator to obtain a Foundation establishment elixir, one reason being they're rarely seen. Moreover, even if a Foundation establishment elixir appeared at a large auction, you would need the strength to keep it. After all, such elixirs aren't just needed by chi refinement cultivators. Many factions and Foundation establishment great cultivators also require Foundation establishment elixirs to nurture their juniors. Hence the pricelessness of Foundation establishment elixirs, each appearance sparking a violent and bloody frenzy. Receiving a Foundation establishment elixir so effortlessly, and from a girl at that, does this count as being kept by a rich lady? Lu Changsheng thought about the Foundation establishment elixir had been obsessing over, which had come into his hands so easily, and he felt like it was a dream. He remembered the jade pendant given to him by a nascent soul immortal. As long as he achieved Foundation establishment, she would offer him an opportunity. Sigh, I really didn't intend to live off a woman. Lu Changsheng sighed softly, feeling that if things continued this way, he really would end up being supported by a woman. Chapter 244, Spiritual Field, Shop, Cave Dwelling. _1 3 days later. Lu family ancestor led a group of Lu family cultivators back to Qingzhou Mountain, signifying that the matter in Red Leaf Valley had come to an end. Lu Miaohuan and her sisters returned along with Lu Yuanding. Sister, do you think Lu Changsheng will really come to propose? After returning home, Lu Miaohuan shyly asked her sister Lu Miaoga. These past few days, she had constantly been pondering the words Lu Changsheng said before, wondering if Lu Changsheng's talk of proposing was real or just a joke. It had left her feeling anxious these past days. As long as you nod to show your willingness, maybe Lu Changsheng will come to propose today. Lu Miaoga, watching her sister's shy appearance, smiled gently and said softly, knowing that her sister had deep feelings for Lu Changsheng. If it weren't for the restraint and shyness of being a woman, she would have probably agreed already. Thinking this, she sighed softly in her heart. Not just Lu Miaohuan. She, too, felt unsettled these past days. Lu Changsheng's words continuously echoed in her mind. She wondered if Lu Changsheng really came to propose, would she agree? After 3 days of deliberation, Lu Miaoga had roughly come to a conclusion. Should it really come to that? And if Lu Changsheng indeed came to propose, she would still agree and not refuse. But even having reached such a conclusion, she still couldn't get over her emotional hurdle. Unsure of how to face Lu Changsheng, how to answer his question. Can't he see whether I'm willing or not? Does he still need to ask me? Could it be that I should take the initiative to speak up? Lu Miaohuan's tempting red lips pursed, and she said somewhat bashfully. She felt that such matters shouldn't require her to take the initiative to tell Lu Changsheng that she was willing and for him to come to propose. That would be too embarrassing. Moreover, this is something that Lu Changsheng should take the initiative to do. Then she herself, upon her father's inquiry, should state that the matter of marriage is her father's decision, and she would abide by her father's arrangement. I just happen to have something to discuss with Lu Changsheng. Since that's the case, how about I probe a little for you? Drop a hint to him? Lu Miaoga, seeing her sister act this way, could not help but speak up, although she now felt a bit scared to see Lu Changsheng, fearing what Lu Changsheng might ask her in return. But as the saying goes, an elder sister is akin to a mother. For the sake of her sister's happiness, she still chose to have a talk with Lu Changsheng. Lu Miaohuan lightly hummed a response, her voice as faint as a mosquito's. If it were before, her pride would never allow her sister to take the initiative in giving hints. She would wait for Lu Changsheng to propose of his own accord. But having initially thought Lu Changsheng had died, she had a change of heart. She had let go of her pride when it came to Lu Changsheng. At the same time, Lu Miaohuan was also at home pondering the matter of her husband and her cousins, Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaohuan. thinking of how to facilitate the marriage proposal. After all, she could see that her husband indeed had feelings for her two cousins. In such a situation, as a wife, it is natural to share her husband's worries and difficulties. Of course, she also had her own selfish reasons. Meng Xiaoquan's appearance had inevitably made Lu Miaoyun feel a sense of crisis. She wanted to do something for her husband. Moreover, she hoped that after her husband married Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan, he would concentrate on cultivation, focus on the talisman path, and stop spending too much attention on other women. Although I suggested to my husband that the elder could give a marital blessing, I'm certain he will not do so. He will definitely seek the consent of Sister Miaoge and Miaohuan before proposing, Lu Miaoyun thought to herself. Having lived with her husband for so many years, she knew his nature well. She knew that in such matters, he would definitely respect the other party's wishes and seek their consent. He would not rashly propose, nor let the elder grant the marriage without the other party's agreement. It's clear that Miaohuan likes my husband, and if he proposed, she would surely agree. But as for Sister Miaoge, Lu Miaoyun continued her contemplation. She delved deep into thought about her cousin's situation, and she didn't know how to describe the relationship between her husband and Lu Miaoge. I remember that Sister Miaoge used to interact with my husband not as they do now, right? This reflection suddenly made Lu Miaoyun feel that the relationship between Lu Miaoge and her husband had become somewhat strange. But she couldn't quite put her finger on what was strange. It seemed that they were still close, yet they both appeared somewhat constrained. Especially Lu Miaoge. I recall that in the past, Sister Miaoge used to treat my husband much like she did her younger brothers and sisters, very naturally, but now, Sister Miaoge seems different around my husband, lacking that easygoing vibe. That's right, it's that naturalness that's missing. Although they seem to still be close, Miaoge hardly speaks to my husband recently, as if she is somewhat avoiding him. Lu Miaoyun continued to ponder, recalling the circumstances between her husband and Lu Miaoge. No, it's not just when facing my husband. It seems Sister Miaoge is also a bit unnatural around me. It was right after Sister Miaoge returned injured. Things seemed off. Lu Miaoyun thought carefully, realizing that something had been amiss with Lu Miaoge for about half a year, but she hadn't given it much thought at the time and had not paid much attention. Now, on reflection, she immediately sensed that there was a problem. She felt that something must have happened between her husband and Lu Miaoge at that time, which was why Lu Miaoge was acting this way. During that time, Sister Miaoge had a close brush with death at the hands of a robber's cultivator, barely clinging to life, and it was my husband who rescued Sister Miaoge. Something must have happened during that, and that's why Sister Miaoge is behaving like this. Chapter 245, Spiritual Field, Shop, Cave Dwelling. What is it? Lu Miaoyun pondered incessantly in her heart. Suddenly, a thought struck her. Could it be, how is that possible? Lu Miaoyun was also startled by her own guess. But apart from that reason, she could think of no other at the moment. And the more she thought about it, the more she felt that it was indeed the reason. If that's really the case, Sister Miaoge would surely be willing to marry my husband, right? Lu Miaoyun's elegant brows furrowed slightly, somewhat puzzled. That's right. Sister Miaoge has always been aloof, non-competitive, and extremely caring towards us. Even if Sister Miaoge truly has feelings for my husband, under such circumstances, she probably feels guilty towards me and unwilling to marry my husband. Moreover, Sister Miaohuan also harbors feelings for my husband. The idea of sisters marrying the same man must be somewhat unacceptable to Sister Miaoge. In addition, Sister Miaoge is wholly devoted to cultivation and has no intention of marrying. If she were to marry my husband, she would inevitably think about having children, which would cause her some worry. Lu Miaoyun speculated and inferred nonstop in her heart, based on her understanding of Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoge. She felt that she had guessed the heart of the issue. If that is the case, I need to talk to Sister Miaoge about it. Lu Miaoyun thought, preparing to seek out Lu Miaoge for a talk, to see if it was as she had guessed. Just as she stepped out the door, she saw a strikingly beautiful woman standing outside, with long flowing hair, dressed in white surpassing the snow, and exuding an ethereal and refined aura. Sister Miaoga? Lu Miaoyan was surprised to see Lu Miaoga outside the door. She hadn't expected to just be preparing to look for Lu Miaoga when the latter was already at her doorstep. Miaoyan. Lu Miaoga hadn't expected Lu Miaoyan to suddenly come out of the door. She had come to speak with Lu Changsheng about her sister's matter. But upon reaching the door, she hesitated for a while, unsure of how to face Lu Changsheng. Fearing how to respond should Lu Changsheng ask, "Sister Miaoga, are you here to see my husband? I also happen to have something to discuss with you." Lu Miaoyan said with a smile on her face. "You have something to discuss with me?" Lu Miaoga was taken aback, somewhat surprised, wondering what Lu Miaoyan wanted from her. Then, Lu Miaoyan invited Lu Miaoga into her room. "Sister Miaoga, do you have something you need from my husband?" Lu Miaoyan asked. "No, nothing in particular." Lu Miaoga shook her head. In front of Lu Miaoyan, she really didn't want to admit she had come to talk about a match for her sister. "Miaoyan, what was it you said you needed to discuss with me just now?" Lu Miaoga gently smoothed her hair and asked. "Sister Miaoga, what do you think of my husband?" Lu Miaoyan tilted her head and asked. "What do you mean by how is he?" Lu Miaoga was slightly startled. Lu Miaoyan didn't understand the meaning of her words. "Just your impression of your husband, Sister Miaoga, in all aspects as a person, I mean." Lu Miaoyan directly sat next to Lu Miaoga, wrapped her arm around hers, and said with a smile brimming in her eyes. Because Lu Miaoga had been learning talismans from the fourth elder, she got along very well with Lu Miaoga. Changsheng is good in all aspects as a person. Lu Miaoga didn't know why Lu Miaoyan was asking this, and spoke softly. Her impression of Lu Changsheng was indeed favorable. In terms of looks, abilities, and character, he was truly outstanding. Of course, his faults were also very clear. As a cultivator, he was too indulged in the company of women. If Lu Changsheng could focus on his cultivation and hold the great Tao in his heart, her opinion of him would be even higher. "It seems that your husband has made a good impression on you, Sister Miaoga. So, Sister Miaoga, would you be willing to marry your husband?" Lu Miaoyan asked jokingly. When Lu Miaoga heard this, her heart suddenly stirred. She had not expected Lu Miaoyan to say such a thing. She spoke softly. "Miaoyan, don't joke about this." "Sister Miaoga, I'm not joking." Lu Miaoyan looked at her usually calm and gentle clan sister, now showing such a demeanor. She became more certain that something had definitely happened between Lu Miaoga and her own husband. It was likely just as she had guessed. "Sister Miaoga, I can see that my husband likes you very much. And you, Sister Miaoga, you also have some feelings for my husband in your heart." Lu Miaoyan continued. "Miaoyan." When Lu Miaoga heard this, she pursed her lips, signaling her to stop talking. "Sister Miaoga, if I'm not mistaken, something must have happened between you and my husband, right? You seem to have a bit of an avoidance complex when facing me and when facing my husband. Sister Miaoga, are you worried about something because of me? If it's because of what I've said, I think you don't need to care because I don't mind it." Lu Miaoyan looked at Lu Miaoga and said it outright. Miaoyan, Lu Miaoga had never expected that Lu Miaoyan would guess the matter between her and Lu Changsheng, and that she would say it so candidly. It left her at a loss for words. "Sister Miaoga, apart from me, do you have other concerns? If it's about Sister Miaowan, I believe she wouldn't mind either. Is it about cultivation? I know, Sister Miaoga, you are devoted to cultivation, but marrying my husband wouldn't affect your practice. In fact, seeing that you and my husband already have feelings for each other, instead of letting these emotions hinder your practice, it would be better to become Tao companions and cultivate together. If you are worried about childbirth, my husband will not force anyone on this matter. If you don't want to have children, you can just tell him directly." Seeing Lu Miaoga like this, Lu Miaoyan knew she must have guessed correctly and said everything all at once. Lu Miaoga pursed her lips and found herself unable to speak. Chapter 246, Spiritual Field, Shop, Cave Dwelling. She never expected that her affair with Lu Changsheng, as well as the turmoil in her heart, would all be laid bare by Lu Miaoyun. Sister Miaoga, if I said that I wasn't a bit disappointed with our husband's philandering ways, it would certainly be a lie. But our husband really treats us well and doesn't play favorites, so you can rest assured. And you've also seen what happened before with our husband and that foundation establishment great cultivator. I think such incidents may occur again in the future, and although I can't stop our husband, I just want to avoid it as much as possible. So, I also have my own selfish desires, hoping that Sister Miaoga and Sister Miaohuan would marry our husband to lessen his dalliances outside. Lu Miaoyun continued to speak with a tone of sincerity. Lu Miaoga pressed her lips together and remained silent. She also thought about Meng Xiaoquan's matter. In her heart, she knew that Lu Changsheng possessed a fateful secret. Under such circumstances, if Lu Changsheng could focus on his cultivation and concentrate on the talisman path, maybe he really could achieve foundation establishment. She had always hoped that Lu Changsheng would devote himself to cultivation, not always to be so indulgent in the pleasures of women. Lu Miaoyun, seeing the look on Lu Miaoge's face, discerned that her heart was already wavering, caught in a dilemma. Seizing the moment, she pressed on, Sister Miaoga, if you still have concerns, you be the senior, and I'll be the junior. Miaoyun, don't be like this. Lu Miaoga was already feeling somewhat flustered by Lu Miaoyun's words. This statement completely dumbfounded her. She hadn't expected Lu Miaoyun to make such a sacrifice. Does this mean you agree, Sister Miaoga? Seeing Lu Miaoga like this, Lu Miaoyun asked with a mischievous smile. Lu Miaoga wanted to say that she had not agreed at all, but Lu Miaoyun had gone so far, and she felt that she had no reason to refuse. Indeed, as Lu Miaoyun had said, she already had feelings for Lu Changsheng, and it was impossible to cut ties with him. Avoiding it wasn't a solution either. It might be better to marry Lu Changsheng and cultivate together. She could also encourage Lu Changsheng to be diligent in his cultivation. Moreover, she also knew that if she did not accept, Lu Changsheng would not easily give up. Furthermore, she had previously thought to herself that if Lu Changsheng really did come to propose marriage, she would agree and not refuse. Immediately after, Lu Miaoga lowered her eyes and nodded gently. That's wonderful. Seeing Lu Miaoga nod, Lu Miaoyun's eyes curved into crescent moons with joy. She then asked, by the way, Sister Miaoga, now you can say what brought you here, right? She didn't believe Lu Miaoga had come without reason. Would one just wander over and linger at the door without entering? It's about Huan Huan. Lu Miaoga sighed slightly and said, Miaoyun, you can see that Huan Huan is quite fond of Changsheng, and back in Red Leaf Valley, Changsheng mentioned the matter of proposing. Thus, Huan Huan has been preoccupied with it these past few days. So I came to discuss this with Changsheng and to settle his and Huan Huan's affair. Lu Miaoga said as much. Sister Miaoga, did our husband also use spiritual communication to ask you this question? Lu Miaoyun nodded, inquiring. At that time, Lu Changsheng had called after Lu Miaoga and then fell silent. But Lu Miaoyun could tell that her husband was speaking through spiritual communication, and she guessed what the contents of that communication might be. At this point, Lu Miaoga had nothing to hide and nodded somewhat bashfully. So, Sister Miaoga, you were at the doorway just now because you didn't know how to reply to our husband, right? Lu Miaoyun's face showed a look of realization. She quickly spoke up, Sister Miaoga, don't worry about it. Given the situation, I'll take care of things for you and Sister Miaohuan with our husband. I'll speak to him. Lu Miaoyun said so. She knew the character of her clan sister well. She understood that for Lu Miaoga to discuss such a matter with Lu Changsheng, it would indeed be embarrassing and difficult. And after everything she had just said, Lu Miaoga must surely be somewhat unsettled in her heart. She would need some time to calm down. Truly letting her tell Lu Changsheng by herself, her thoughts might change again. Then it'll trouble you, Miaoyun. Lu Miaoga breathed a sigh of relief and said so. Then she said her goodbyes and left. In this short time, her heart, which she had finally calmed down a few days before, became chaotic again. We're going to be family after all, Sister Miaoga, There's no need to be so formal. Lu Miaoyun immediately got up to see Lu Miao go off. Humph, you rotten husband, you better make it up to me later. After sending Lu Miao out the door, Lu Miaoyun couldn't help feeling a bit sour as she thought about how she, as a wife, was actually helping her own husband find another woman, and snorted softly. And after Lu Miaoga had left, she gradually came back to her senses. She hadn't expected that coming over to speak on behalf of her sister would result in losing herself in the process. Sigh. Lu Miaoga, having already agreed, said nothing more, only letting out a light sigh. However, at this moment, she felt a certain sense of liberation and relaxation. For the past half-year, this matter had been hanging over her, making it hard for her to concentrate on her cultivation. Inside the study, Sister Miaoga agreed too. Lu Changsheng, hearing Lu Miao's words, couldn't help but express his surprise. He wasn't worried about Lu Miao inside at all. Knowing her immediate attitude at the time, she had essentially agreed. His thoughts had always been on Lu Miaoga, wondering how to unravel her emotional knots. He hadn't expected his sweet little wife to solve the problem. Yes, Sister Miaoga has agreed. So, husband, how do you plan to reward me? Lu Miaoyun pouted and said in a soft voice. What reward do you want, Yun'er? Lu Changsheng, seeing his sweet little wife's demeanor, instantly scooped her up to sit on his lap, his hands wandering. Husband, Lu Miao's beautiful eyes half closed, her gaze flowing, she bit her lower lip and breathed somewhat rapidly. She then leaned weakly against the desk. As a thoughtful and considerate man, Lu Changsheng also tenderly held his delicate wife's waist. At that moment, spring was abundant in the study. 2 days later, the Lu family ancestor came to find Lu Changsheng, expressing that thanks to him, their attack on Red Leaf Valley had been a success. Therefore, as a reward for his contributions, they granted him 100 acres of spirit farmland. Additionally, it was announced that before long, Red Leaf Valley would be jointly managed by the Lu family, Yu family, Bai family, and Zheng family, and it would be established as a cultivation marketplace. At that time, the Lu family would allocate a shop and a cave dwelling for Lu Changsheng in Red Leaf Marketplace. Thank you, ancestor. Upon hearing this, Lu Changsheng bowed his thanks. This reward was indeed generous. Firstly, the 100 acres of spirit farmland from Qingzhou Mountain would bring Lu Changsheng a considerate and stable income. Once the Red Leaf Valley Marketplace was established, as long as it got bustling, a shop would become a money tree. So this one shop and one cave dwelling were effectively 2 money trees. Lu Changxing knew in his heart that he could obtain such a rich reward entirely because of Meng Xiaochan. Otherwise, with how he and Lu Miaoyun had been previously getting by, participating just for the sake of it, being rewarded with 100 or so spirit stones would have been considered a large reward. How could such an abundant reward be possible? Like the spirit farmland of Qingzhou Mountain, it was managed by the Lu family elders, who let the spirit farmers take care of it. Now, however, they had given out 100 acres as a reward to him. Lu Changsheng guessed this was also the Lu family's way of adding another layer of ties to him. Hee, our Lu family never treats its own members poorly. This is what you deserve. Changsheng, if you have any other requests, feel free to mention them. The Lu family ancestor said cheerfully. Chapter 247. Sister Miaoga, why don't you teach Huan? Ancestor, I have no other requests. I just need to trouble you with one matter. Lu Changsheng paused slightly after hearing the words of the Lu family ancestor and spoke with a respectful bow. A couple of days ago, after Lu Miaoyun had told him that her sister, Lu Miaoga, consented to marry him, he planned to go to Lu Yuanding to propose, to take both sisters as his wives. But when he was about to propose formally, Lu Changsheng felt stuck. He somewhat didn't know how to broach the subject. After all, whoever proposes marriage by asking for 2 daughters of family at once? Even though Lu Changsheng's face had thickened quite a bit, he truly did not know how to start the conversation with Lu Yuanding. In the end, he decided, just as his wife Lu Miaoyun suggested, to ask the Lu family ancestor to bestow the marriage. He and Lu Miaoge, as well as Lu Miaohuan, were mutually fond of each other, so having the Lu family ancestor play matchmaker was quite in line with reason. It would not involve anything forceful. "Oh, you need my help?" The Lu family ancestor was mildly surprised to hear that Lu Chongqing needed assistance from him. He then said directly, "What is it? Speak freely." "I am fond of the family head's daughter and would like to ask the ancestor to play matchmaker for me," Lu Chongqing said with respect. "Fond of Yuanding's daughter?" The Lu family ancestor smiled upon hearing this. He thought it was some major issue. He did not expect it to concern the affairs of young men and women. But knowing about Lu Changxing's preference for marrying and having children, he felt reassured. He cheerfully said, "Since there is mutual affection between you two, I will take on the task and play matchmaker for your marriage. But I recall that Yuanding has 2 daughters. With which one are you mutually fond? Could it be Miaoge?" The Lu family ancestor asked thus. He did not meddle in family affairs, but he was very clear about many things within the family. He knew of Lu Yuanding's 2 daughters, especially Lu Miaoge, who was not only talented in cultivation, but also a high-quality talisman master. Lu Changxing's manner made him guess that Lu Chongqing wanted to marry Lu Miaoge. Ancestor, I am mutually fond with both daughters of the family head," Lu Chongqing said somewhat sheepishly. "What? You are mutually fond of both of Yuanding's daughters?" The Lu family ancestor was taken aback upon hearing this. He did not expect Lu Changxing's request for matchmaking involved not 1, but 2, to marry away both of Lu Yuanding's daughters. He instantly understood. No wonder Lu Chongqing requested his help to play matchmaker instead of proposing himself. If Lu Chongqing personally went to propose, declaring he wanted to marry both of Lu Yuanding's daughters, not to mention being kicked out, but for sure Lu Yuanding would not give him a good expression. "Fine, since there's mutual affection, I will play matchmaker for you." The Lu family ancestor didn't say much more and simply agreed. Setting aside that Lu Chongqing spoke of mutual affection, even if there had been no mutual affection, so long as Lu Chongqing asked and his descendants did not oppose him, he would be willing to match them with Lu Chongqing, a man of great destiny. After all, Lu Chongqing was also one of the Lu family's own. Marrying several Lu family women was of no concern. It wouldn't only prevent talent from leaving the family, but it would also bind Lu Chongqing even closer to the Lu family and integrate him further into the family. "Many thanks, ancestor." Seeing the Lu family ancestor agree so readily, Lu Chongqing also breathed a sigh of relief and bowed immediately in thanks. No need for such formality. Do you have any other matters? Don't be shy. You may bring them up," the Lu family ancestor said to Lu Chongqing with a cheerful smile. "Ancestor, I have no other matters," Lu Chongqing responded respectfully. "All right, since there are no other matters, then I will go and speak on your behalf. As for whether it will be successful, I cannot guarantee. Of course, if, as you say, there is mutual affection, there should not be any problem," the Lu family ancestor said. He would not make such promises outright and guarantee success. "I understand. Thank you for the trouble, ancestor," Lu Chongqing said as he bowed. He had asked about Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan. It was just that he simply didn't dare to face Lu Yuanding, his future father-in-law. Afterward, the Lu family ancestor did not stay long and said a few words before departing. Lu Chongqing saw him off with great respect. "Husband, did you mention the matter of Sister Miaoge and Miaohuan to the ancestor just now?" After Lu Chongqing had seen off the Lu family ancestor, Lu Miaoyan stepped forward and asked. She had already thought it through. If Lu Chongqing truly couldn't broach the subject, she would trouble the 4th elder to have the 4th elder speak on behalf of Lu Chongqing. The ancestor has already agreed. Lu Chongqing nodded and did not hide it. He also shared the reward the Lu family ancestor had given him. 100 mu of spirit farmland, a shop, and a cave dwelling in Red Leaf Valley Market. Lu Miaoyun was startled upon hearing about the reward, her mouth slightly agape in surprise, because the reward was quite substantial. 100 mu of spirit farmland, even if used to grow the most ordinary spirit rice, after deducting for seeds, fertilizers, and the like, leaving everything else to spirit farmers to manage, would yield over 1,000 spirit stones a year. 1,000 spirit stones a year was no small income wherever one might be. Even for the current Lu Changsheng, it represented a significant income, which would also greatly lighten his burden in raising children. And once Red Leaf Valley Market was established and bustling, the shop and cave dwelling would also bring in a handsome income each year. So it was not an exaggeration to say that the Lu family ancestors' reward was generous. However, Lu Changsheng only realized the specific value of the 100 mu of spirit farmland after hearing Lu Miao's explanation, because he had not cultivated spirit land before. He was not aware of the concept behind 100 mu of spirit farmland. Does this mean from now on, I could also live off collecting rent? Chapter 248. Sister Miaoga, why don't you teach Huan? Lu Changsheng chuckled lightly. 100 acres of spirit field and a shop, a cave dwelling, just by collecting rent, can allow 90% of cultivators to live a comfortable life. He also roughly understood why property could occupy one of the spots in the spell of wealth and partners. Many loose cultivators dream of owning a piece of spirit land, not just because they need spirit land for cultivation, but also because owning a piece of spirit land means having the means of production and endless income. No need to wander around for a living anymore. Yuner, when this spirit field reward is granted, will trouble you to take care of it. Lu Changsheng said to Lu Miaoyan. He had to cultivate, make talismans, and spend time with his wives and children every day, and he simply had no time to worry about too many things. Matters like the spirit field and other internal affairs were naturally entrusted to his wives to manage, and he was very confident in Lu Miaoyan. Husband, rest assured, you focus on cultivation. Let your concubine handle such matters. Upon hearing Lu Changsheng entrust her with 100 acres of spirit field, Lu Miaoyan felt trusted and sweetly agreed. Although she didn't know much about farming, she knew that the Lu family had a mature system in this area. She didn't need to manage anything personally. All she needed to do was oversee it occasionally and wait to collect the money. After leaving Lu Changsheng, the Lu family ancestor went straight to Lu Yuanding's place. Ancestor, what brings you here? Upon learning of the ancestor's visit, Lu Yuanding didn't dare to delay and rushed over immediately. Compared to Lu Changsheng's respect, everyone in the Lu family revered the ancestor from the bottom of their hearts. Lu Changsheng has asked me to be his matchmaker, so the ancestor has come to propose a marriage on behalf of Lu Changsheng, said the Lu family ancestor. Regarding his own descendants, the Lu family ancestor was straightforward. Ancestor must be speaking of Changsheng and Huaner, right? I was also thinking of speaking with Lu Changsheng about this matter, but I never expected that the ancestor would come personally. Upon hearing this, Lu Yuanding immediately showed a smile. He had planned to deal with his daughter Lu Miaohuan's affairs after finishing his hectic schedule in the coming days. After all, he had seen his daughter's feelings for Lu Changsheng with his own eyes. He had even caught them in an intimate moment last time. He thought it was time to settle the matter. Despite Lu Changsheng having many wives and being quite amorous, which displeased him, he feared his daughter would suffer if she married into such a situation. But putting that aside, he was quite satisfied with Lu Changsheng in other respects. Moreover, since his own daughter liked Lu Changsheng, what else was there to say? Lu Yuanding had not expected that Lu Changsheng would have the ancestor come to propose marriage personally. Far from being annoyed, he felt somewhat relieved, because in his view, such an action showed Lu Changsheng's affection and value for his daughter. Oh, it seems that what Lu Changsheng said is also true. However, Lu Changsheng has asked me to come here to say that both of your daughters are mutually in love with him, the Lu family ancestor said with a chuckle. What? Both? He asked the ancestor to come and propose, not only to Huaner, but also to Sister Miaoga. Lu Yuanding, who had been showing a relieved smile, suddenly changed his expression upon hearing this. He was mentally prepared to marry his daughter, Lu Miaohuan, to Lu Changsheng. But now, hearing that Lu Changsheng wanted to marry his eldest daughter as well, it was difficult for him as a father to accept at the moment. Yes, it seems to be so. This youngster didn't have the face to come and propose in person, so he asked the old man to be the matchmaker, explained the Lu family ancestor, shaking his head slightly at Lu Yuanding's reaction. This sigh. After a moment of silence, Lu Yuanding let out a deep sigh. He knew Lu Changsheng's character well. Lu Changsheng was not one to take advantage of others or bully by virtue of his position. If he asked the ancestor to come and propose marriage, it was probably because he had genuine feelings for his daughter Lu Miaoga. Even so, thinking about Lu Changsheng wanting to take away both his daughters made him quite upset. His fist clenched involuntarily. When did Changsheng and Miaoga start having feelings for each other? Lu Yuanding couldn't help thinking. He was so busy with his duties that he failed to notice that his eldest daughter had also become involved with Lu Changsheng. But the next moment, he immediately guessed that it must have been when Lu Miaoga and Lu Changsheng were managing the spiritual talisman shop together at the Nine Dragons Market, and then she was misled by that youngster. Thinking this, Lu Yuanding's expression turned sullen, and he felt a wave of disappointment. Ancestor, I still want to ask about Miaoga's thoughts on this matter, Lu Yuanding said through gritted teeth. As for his younger daughter, Lu Miaohuan, he felt there was nothing to ask about. Her heart was already with Lu Changsheng. But for his eldest daughter, Lu Miaoga, he thought he still wanted to ask, to see if his daughter truly liked Lu Changsheng. If she really did, then it was fine. But if not, even if the ancestor came to propose, he, as a father, would stand up for his daughter. He, the ancestor, would also like to know how this youngster managed to steal away the pearl of our Lu family. The Lu family ancestor nodded, saying with a chuckle. After a while, Lu Miaoga arrived in the hall. Dad, did you call for me? Greetings to the ancestor. Seeing the Lu family ancestor drinking tea in the hall, she immediately greeted him respectfully. Miaoga, Lu Changsheng says that you and he are mutually in love, and so he has asked me to come here to propose marriage. Is this true or false? The Lu family ancestor looked at Lu Miaoga and asked with a smile. Upon hearing these words, Lu Miaoga's lovely cheeks blushed ignitedly. After what Lu Miaoyun said the day before yesterday, she had been somewhat restless when she went home, thinking about the possibility of Lu Changsheng coming to propose. She never expected that Lu Changsheng would actually ask the ancestor to come and propose. Chapter 249. Sister Miaoga, why don't you teach Wanhuan? Upon witnessing this scene, Lu Yuanding had wanted to ask some questions. But seeing his daughter like this, he suddenly felt there was nothing to question anymore. He knew that the relationship between his daughter and Lu Changsheng was not just about mutual affection, but was also extraordinary. All right, if that's the case, 1 month from now is an auspicious day. Let's hold the wedding then. I will personally preside over the marriage and share in the joy with a toast. Seeing this, the Lu family ancestor also found his answer and didn't inquire further, immediately making the decision. He was also somewhat curious about what kind of capabilities Lu Changsheng possessed. After all, he had won the affections of both of Lu Yuanding's daughters. It reminded him of how the Foundation establishment great cultivator in Red Leaf Valley had fallen for Lu Changsheng. This matter remained unfathomable to him even now. After all, it was utterly impossible to captivate so many female cultivators solely with one's appearance. There must be something exceptional about him in other aspects. But during his visit to Lu Changsheng's residence, he could tell that Lu Changsheng wasn't using any heretical methods. His aura was upright and serene, his wives and concubines radiant, with nothing amiss. Miaoga will follow the arrangements of the family ancestor and father. Lu Miaoga said softly with a shy bow of her head. At this moment, All the unease in her heart dissolved. All that remained was shyness and a hint of joy. Good, Yuanding, you arrange this. Just let me know when it's time, said the Lu family ancestor. Yes, family ancestor. Lu Yuanding responded helplessly with a cupped fist salute. After all, at this point, what more could he say? Afterward, the Lu family ancestor took his leave. Miaoga, when did you and Changsheng begin? Lu Yuanding sighed slightly and asked his daughter after seeing off the family ancestor. He still felt somewhat unwilling to let go. He wanted to know when exactly Lu Changsheng had stolen away his eldest daughter. It was when I encountered a robber cultivator, and Changsheng saved me. Lu Miaoga said softly with her head bowed, not hiding anything from her father. Upon hearing this, Lu Yuanding felt somewhat relieved, and it eased his mind significantly. He knew that if not for Lu Changsheng, his eldest daughter would have perished then. He then had a chat with his eldest daughter before going to inform his younger daughter. He told her that her marriage with Lu Changsheng was settled and would take place in a month. Lu Miaohuan was initially shocked, not expecting the arrangement to be made so swiftly and feeling suddenly bashful. But learning that Lu Changsheng was not only marrying her, but also her sister, she was stunned for a moment. However, after Lu Yuanding's explanation, she silently pondered for a moment and then came to terms with it. She quickly accepted the situation. After all, she had already accepted Lu Changsheng's numerous wives and concubines, and naturally wouldn't mind her own sister. Before long, half a month passed. The news that Lu Changsheng was about to wed the Lu family's eldest miss and the second miss spread across Qingzhou Mountain, stirring up much discussion. Damn, what the hell? Lu Changsheng is getting married again, and to both Sister Miaoga and Sister Miaohuan. Our Lu family's two beauties are being swept away by one man. How can you call it being swept away? This is clearly keeping the resources within our own field. Yeah, marrying Lu Changsheng is still marrying within our Lu family, right? The family head actually agreed to this marriage? I heard that Sister Miaoga and Sister Miaohuan are indeed in love with Brother Changsheng, so the family head could only agree. SSS, truly worthy of being our Qingzhou Mountain's #1 romantic. Not only did he charm a foundation establishment great cultivator before, but now he's silently won over both Sister Miaoga and Sister Miaohuan. In this regard, I respect no one but Lu Changsheng. I'm not surprised that Lu Miaohuan is marrying Lu Changsheng, but I didn't expect Sister Miaoga to marry him as well. Yeah, I thought Sister Miaoga would remain unmarried for life. I support this marriage. That's right, I also support it. If not for Lu Changsheng, when we in the Bai family attacked Red Leaf Valley, we might have been outplayed by the Yu family. As the news of Lu Changsheng's upcoming marriage to Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaohuan circulated, Qingzhou Mountain buzzed with excitement, with many people discussing it. If it was just Lu Miaohuan getting married, people wouldn't have much to talk about. At most, they would remark in amazement that Lu Changsheng was taking a wife again. But Lu Changsheng was marrying both sisters at once, especially Lu Miaoga, who not only had a great talent for cultivation and a good reputation, but was also a top-quality talisman master. Many Lu family disciples thought Lu Miaoga would remain unmarried for life. Yet unexpectedly, Lu Miaoga was going to marry Lu Changsheng, and she was marrying him along with her sister, Lu Miaohuan. So this made everyone feel incredibly moved. But it was just a sentiment and discussion, without any real objection. After all, by now, Lu Changsheng had thoroughly integrated into the Lu family. He had shared in their trials and tribulations, contributing to their victories, making him one of their own. The immortal seedlings who had originally come to Qingzhou Mountain with Lu Changsheng, upon hearing this news, felt a mix of envy and awe, but no longer had any strong emotions or other feelings on matter. Having been in Qingzhou Mountain for over a decade, they had gradually accepted reality and come to terms with their ordinariness. They understood that not everyone with a spiritual root stepping onto the path of immortality could achieve success in cultivation. The path of immortality was difficult, filled with countless dangers. 99% of cultivators spent their lives inconspicuously in the qi refinement realm. Now, Lu Changsheng was growing farther and farther away from them. He had reached a point where they no longer compared themselves to him or discussed him on equal terms. Sometimes they would reminisce about their initial arrival at Qingzhou Mountain with Lu Changsheng as a son-in-law and regret not having formed a good relationship with him. As for the discussions in Qingzhou Mountain, Lu Changsheng was unaware and unconcerned. During this time, he devoted his time to accompanying his wives and concubines. Chapter 250. Sister Miaoga, why don't you teach Wan? _4 After all, I was about to take another wife, and I needed to properly comfort the women in my harem. Also, because of the issues between the Lu family and the Chun family, I was worried about accidents, which was why I hadn't let my wives and concubines bear children for some time. Now that the storm had passed, the Lu family had returned to tranquility. I could continue to live in peace, so naturally it was time to get busy with childbearing. In the past half a month, with Lu Changsheng's continuous efforts, the concubines Xiao Yuyao and Xiao Yueru became pregnant. As for Lu Miaoyun and Chu Jinjin, Lu Changsheng was taking it slow with them, thinking of letting the two women rest more and spend some time on cultivation. After all, one had given birth to 3 children for him, and the other to 4. They deserved more breaks. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. On this day, it was the day of Lu Changsheng's wedding with Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaowan. The ceremony was extremely grand and lively. One could say it was a celebration for the entire clan. The whole of Qingzhou Mountain was joyous, draped in colored lights, adorned with large red lanterns. Early in the morning, Lu Changsheng, with the care of his 2 beautiful wives, Lu Miaoyun and Chu Jinjin, was adorned with a golden crown and dressed in a red groom's brocade. With a big red flower on his chest, he rode a spiritual horse, leading the wedding procession with drums and gongs to the residence of Lu Yuanding to welcome the bridal sedan. I pay my respects to my father-in-law. As soon as Lu Changsheng entered the door, he saw family head Lu Yuanding and immediately dismounted to respectfully perform a salute. Changsheng, Huana has a somewhat willful disposition. I hope you could be more understanding, Lu Yuanding, the family head, said with slightly red eyes, patting Lu Changsheng's shoulder. Even though he was somewhat displeased that Lu Changsheng had married both his daughters, he still hoped that Lu Changsheng would treat his daughters well. Please rest assured, father-in-law, Lu Changsheng said earnestly as he clasped his hands together. Good. Lu Yuanding nodded, and once again patted Lu Changsheng's shoulder, saying, I believe in you. After a while, supported by 2 bridesmaids, Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaowan appeared. Both were dressed in phoenix crowns and rosy clouds robes, their exquisite faces veiled by the tassels hanging from the fiery red phoenix crowns, hiding their stunning visages from view. But their graceful figures, adorned in those gorgeous phoenix robes, were stunningly beautiful and dazzled all who saw them. Lu Changsheng looked at the 2 women before him, a smile on his face, and felt a surge of pride and joy well up from within. After all, Lu Miaoga was the first fairy he had encountered in the cultivation world, a woman who had caused his heart to flutter. Back then, to him, Lu Miaoga was a woman to be admired from afar. But at this very moment, she was about to become his wife. Not just that, both Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaowan had middle-grade spiritual roots. They were to become his only 2 wives with middle-grade spiritual roots. This gave him hope that the spiritual roots of his future children could reach an even higher level. Lu Changsheng stepped forward to assist the 2 women onto the bridal sedan. He could feel that both women had somewhat stiff palms, obviously nervous. Even Lu Miaowan was more nervous than Lu Miaoga. This brought a smile to Lu Changsheng's face, and he gently pinched the tender palm of this second young miss. After sending the 2 women into the bridal sedan, Lu Changsheng mounted his horse and led the wedding procession grandly back. Since both families resided within Qingzhou Valley, the procession circled the entirety of Qingzhou Mountain, much like the time he had married Lu Miaoyan. I still remember when Lu Changxing married Sister Miaoyan. Who would have thought he'd be marrying both Sister Miaoga and Miaohuan today? Yes, I still remember Lu Changsheng from 10 years ago, when he came to our Lu family as an immortal seedling. In 10 years, from a son-in-law taken in through marriage to a top-notch talisman master, marrying Miaoyun, as well as Miaoga and Miaohuan, he's reached the peak of life. Everyone makes their own choices. Lu Changsheng's way of life, I suppose, leaves him with no regrets. 10 years. How many decades does one have in a lifetime, eh? In 10 years, Lu Changsheng went from a son-in-law to this point. Yet over my 10 years, many people looking at Lu Changsheng riding atop the spiritual horse with a face full of pride and satisfaction, couldn't help but feel touched and introspective. Over the past decade, most of the Lu family disciples had also come to accept Lu Changsheng. But remembering how Lu Changsheng had arrived at Qingzhou Mountain as a son-in-law years ago, it felt like a lifetime had passed, a feeling that made them sigh with emotion. Thus, Lu Changsheng, riding his spiritual horse, leading the bridal sedan and the wedding procession, made a full circuit around Qingzhou Mountain and arrived at the Qingzhou Grand Hall. The Qingzhou Grand Hall was originally the central hall for the Lu family's meetings. It was in consideration of the Lu family ancestor personally overseeing the wedding ceremony and the face of the family head, Lu Yuanding, that this place was chosen for the wedding. For this wedding, even the normally plain hall had been decorated sumptuously. Lu Changsheng dismounted and escorted the two brides, each in their phoenix crown and rosy clouds robes, from the bridal sedan. Together, they held a red silk ribbon and entered the great hall. To the sound of harmonious music, the three of them entered the main chamber. Familiar faces met their gaze. The Lu family ancestor sat in the main seat, wearing a smile, personally presiding over the wedding. Lu Yuanding and the fourth elder sat nearby, serving as the elders from both sides. Begin the ceremony and exchange vows. The Lu family ancestor's voice bellowed clearly. Thereupon, Lu Changsheng, along with Lu Miaoga and Miaohuan, came before Lu Yuanding and the fourth elder. First salute to heaven and earth. Second salute to the high hall. Couple bow to each other. Under the witness of the Lu family's high-ranking members, Lu Changsheng and the Miaoga sisters completed the ceremony and exchanged vows. Following was the procession to the bridal chamber. However, after taking the two women to the bridal chamber, Lu Changsheng still had to return to receive guests. Changsheng, I once told you that as my son-in-law, you should treat Qingzhou Mountain as your own home, but now I have something more to say to you. Chapter 251. Sister Miaoga, why don't you teach Wanhuan? _5 at this moment, the Lu family ancestor, with his somewhat clouded eyes, looked at Lu Changsheng and spoke in a gentle voice. Ancestor, please speak. Lu Changsheng said respectfully upon hearing this. I know you have your own opportunities and secrets, which is why I've always been guarded. But I hope you remember one thing. You are the son-in-law of the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain. We are one family, so Qingzhou Mountain is your support. You are not alone. If there's anything, you can always talk to me. The Lu family ancestor spoke, his elderly voice exceedingly gentle, like that of an ordinary senior teaching his junior. Lu Changsheng's heart skipped a beat upon hearing this. He could feel the sincerity in the words. He could tell that now the Lu family ancestor was exuding an aura of death. He knew that the battle at Red Leaf Valley had taken a toll on the already limited years of the Lu family ancestor. Whether it was the previous rewards, the matchmaking, or now these words, there was an undeniable element of coaxing, hoping that he would stay with the Lu family. But regardless, the old man's actions and words touched his heart deeply. The young one understands. Please be at ease, ancestor. As long as I am the son-in-law of the Lu family, I will not fail the family, Lu Changsheng said to the Lu family ancestor with unwavering conviction. Now that his relationship with the Liu family had reached this stage, he naturally could not let them down. Even if he were to leave the Liu family in the future and establish his own clan, the ties with the family could not be easily severed. After all, he was not a person of heartless and ungrateful nature. He always remembered those who were kind to him in his heart. Good. The Liu family ancestor smiled upon hearing this. He patted Liu Changsheng lightly and said, "Go on, go to the bridal chamber. Don't keep them waiting." "Thank you, ancestor." Liu Changsheng smiled and bowed his hand slightly. After making a quick toast, he headed to the bridal chamber. Having been through the experience several times, the bridal chamber was now familiar territory for Liu Changsheng. With the maid Kuei Si attending, Liu Changsheng used the jade balance beam to lift the red veils of the two brides and remove their tasseled phoenix crowns. Suddenly, two extremely beautiful faces that even phrases like national beauty and heavenly fragrance were insufficient to describe were revealed to Liu Changsheng's eyes. Miaoga, who was originally ethereal and otherworldly, now had her cheeks tinted with makeup, making her fair, snowy complexion blush with a warm luster, coquettish and touching, radiant and charming, like a fairy descended to the mortal world. Maja's dreamy, mesmerizing eyes met Liu Changsheng's intense gaze, and she immediately became like a panicking deer, her beautiful head lowered shyly, a wave of bashfulness rising in her heart. This scene was an unparalleled beauty to Liu Changsheng, the most stunning landscape on earth, and the usually aloof and noble second young mistress, today, had completely melted her ice mountain demeanor. Her eyes brimming with emotion as she looked at Liu Changsheng, her delicate features now adorned with a hint of adorable shyness, charming and bewitching. "Sister Miaoga, Huan Huan, you are truly beautiful." Liu Changsheng took a deep breath and praised generously. If he hadn't been through so much, seen so many things, just looking at his two charming brides in front of him might have been too much to handle, and he wouldn't be able to maintain such calm and composure. Then, taking the wedding cup from the tray held by the maid Kuei Si, he said, "Sister Miaoga, Huan Huan, today we become husband and wife, and from now on we shall journey through life together. Come, let us drink this cup to the full." Immediately after, the three of them drank the joint cup wine together. After finishing the wine, Liu Changsheng suddenly chuckled and said to Miaoga, "Life is unpredictable. When I first saw Sister Miaoga, I thought of you as an untouchable fairy, high above. I never imagined that one day I could marry you." Turning his gaze to Miao Huan, he continued, "When I first saw Huan Huan, I thought she was both cold and fierce. And now," Miao Huan, hearing Liu Changsheng describe her sister as a fairy and herself as cold and fierce, immediately objected with pouted lips. Her lips pursed, glistening and fresh as the most tender petals in the world, tempting Liu Changsheng to taste them carefully. "From now on, you are flawless." Liu Changsheng gazed at the second young mistress before him and said, before promptly tasting those petals, Miao Huan let out a soft moan, reminded that her sister was still there. But her body tingled all over and she began to tremble, unable to utter a sound. Then a series of rustling noises commenced. Liu Changsheng, the second young mistress, wrapped her snow-white arms around Liu Changsheng's neck involuntarily, her eyes slightly squinted, murmuring softly, Liu Changsheng gently clasped her creamy skin, trailing off with a drawn-out tone. "Husband," Miao Huan called softly, then her beautiful eyes closed tightly, her delicate features slightly furrowed, her head tilting back. Her exquisite, beautiful face blushed, her breath heaving with soft moans, her body shaking unceasingly. Miaoga, abashed beside them, didn't know how to react upon seeing her sister in such a state. But seeing her sister's plaintive behavior, she awkwardly comforted her while feeling somewhat flustered and shy. She could clearly feel her sister's body incredibly soft and scorching at this moment. "Sister Miaoga, Lu Changsheng turned to Miaoge, taking her delicate hand and slowly moving it. That gesture made Maiage's heart surge with unending shyness. Her breathing quickened, her clear and lovely cheeks flushing like the rosy sky at sunset, becoming more radiant under the candlelight. As the older sister, why don't you teach Huan? Said Lu Changsheng, taking in the fragrance from Miaoge and whispering softly. Then, the scene fades to black. That year, Lu Changsheng was 28 years old, with 7 wives, 11 concubines, and 24 maids. Chapter 252. The young lady and second miss are pregnant. _1 the next morning, Lu Changsheng awoke, looking at the 2 newlywed wives beside him, whose features were about 70 to 80% similar and whose sleeping faces were stunningly beautiful. The corners of his mouth lifted slightly. This, too, is the motivation for my diligent cultivation, he said. The heights are cold, and the path to immortality stretches endlessly. Cultivators are also human, with emotions and desires. If one were to practice cultivation by casting aside all emotions and desires, and enduring nothing but arduous cultivation, even if one were to reach the pinnacle of the immortal path and live a long and plentiful life, what joy would there be? Lu Changsheng ruminated in his heart. At this moment, he experienced a feeling of enlightenment, a sense of spiritual satisfaction. It was as if his body and soul had both been sublimated. This was his Tao. The way of cultivation is manifold. Different people follow different paths. As for him, his path was to traverse amid the chaos of the mundane world. He sought to satisfy his own desires and to cultivate an unobstructed mind and a relaxed spirit. Changsheng. At this moment, Lu Maige's eyelashes quivered as she slowly awoke, opening her clear and bright eyes. Looking at Lu Changsheng, her face revealed a trace of happiness and shyness, mixed with a faint joy. Huan is still asleep. Let's sleep a bit longer, she said. Lu Changsheng, watching Lu Miaoge wake up, drew her enticingly fragrant and jade-like body into his arms. Bending his head slightly, he gazed at her fair, creamy neck and spoke softly. Now married, Lu Miaoge no longer put on the airs of an elder sister as usual. She responded with a light "Emisham" and nestled into Lu Changsheng's embrace. Her beautiful eyes were half opened, her lips slowly parting with breaths that tugged at the heartstrings. Huan is about to wake up. Later we need to go see father, she said. The eldest mistress, noticing that Lu Changsheng's actions were becoming more intense, grabbed his hand, her hazy, beautiful eyes looking towards her husband as she softly spoke. Even after the wedding night and becoming husband and wife, she tried to maintain the image of an elder sister in front of her younger sister. Hearing this, Lu Changsheng also stopped his movements. He knew the eldest mistress was shy. He had great respect for Lu Miaoge, or it could be said that this kind of thing was mutual. Immediately afterwards, Lu Miaoge got up, draped on a dignified and elegant white gossamer gown, and tidied up the clothing scattered beside the bed. Soon, Lu Miaohuan also awoke. Thinking of last night's scene, this second young mistress was even more shy than her sister Lu Miaoge. This was also because Lu Miaoge and Lu Changsheng had already had marital relations. By this time, Lu Miaoge had already finished dressing and applying makeup. Seeing that her younger sister had awakened, the gentle and graceful elder sister got the 2 of them out of bed, suggesting that they should go to serve tea and greet their father Lu Yuanding. Hearing this, the 2 of them did not delay. They immediately got dressed and went with Lu Miaoge to meet their father-in-law. After greeting their father-in-law and having breakfast, they returned home, and Lu Changsheng called over Lu Miaoyun, Chu Jinjin, and the others to start unpacking wedding gifts. This wedding was so grand, officiated by the Lu family ancestor, that everyone from Qingzhou Mountain had brought gifts. However, most were just token gestures. It was only the gifts from a few of the Lu family elders that were somewhat more substantial. To Lu Changsheng's surprise, the gift from the Lu family ancestor was actually a dual cultivation secret technique. Is the ancestor concerned about my multitude of wives and the depletion of my energy? He wondered, somewhat astonished. Nonetheless, he could tell that in terms of value, this dual cultivation secret technique was the most valuable of all the wedding gifts. But he possessed the yin-yang harmony technique. Contained within were many dual cultivation techniques, and he had no regard for the dual cultivation secret technique in the gift. But a true master always keeps the heart of an apprentice. With a learning mindset, Lu Changsheng flipped through the illustrated manual of the dual cultivation technique. Lu Miaohuan boldly took a few glances. Seeing this, Lu Changsheng directly pulled the women together, and they all began to study it with keen interest. After all, it was one thing to understand dual cultivation, but none could be as simple and direct as the teachings in these illustrated manuals. He could talk about how to dual cultivate, but his wives might just think he was deceiving them. Now, with the dual cultivation technique gifted by the ancestor, there could be no doubt. As night fell, Lu Changsheng first went to comfort Lu Miaoyun and Xu Jinjin, teaching the two women the dual cultivation technique and helping them with their cultivation. After all, one must not forget old love in the face of new. Late into the night, he then went to find Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan for cultivation. Now, naturally, the two women did not share one room and had separate chambers, which made Lu Changsheng feel a bit regretful. But he was not in a hurry. He knew such things needed to be approached gradually. It was better for them to be separate now, allowing both sisters to let go and relax. Otherwise, like last night, they would both hold back, and that would diminish the fun. Lu Changsheng first entered Lu Miaoge's room, where the eldest mistress was not asleep but meditating. She was still clad in a simple and elegant white gown, but with a bit more decoration than usual. Her black hair was tied up high, adorned with a green jade hairpin, and two earrings dangled from her delicate earlobes, adding a few touches of noble and refined charm to her transcendental beauty. Changsheng, seeing Lu Changsheng, Lu Miaoge opened her beautiful eyes and softly called out his name. Sister Miaoge, I finished reading the dual cultivation technique given by the ancestor today, and there are some parts one don't quite understand. I was hoping Sister Miaoge could enlighten me, Lu Changsheng said as he approached. Lu Miaoge blushed at his words. She wasn't foolish enough to believe what Lu Changsheng said. Not understanding cultivation? Clearly, it was just an excuse. Changsheng, matters between men and women should have limits. If one overindulges, it can impact cultivation and also harm the body. Lu Miaoge gently pursed her lips and advised tenderly, like a wise woman and a good wife. Previously, she didn't feel it was her place to advise Lu Changsheng too much, but now that she was married to him, she felt it was important to properly supervise Lu Changsheng's cultivation. Sister Miaoge, you know me. From today on, I will exercise restraint. But I really have come to seek guidance in cultivation, he replied. Chapter 253. The young lady and second miss are pregnant. Moreover, dual cultivation benefits both of us. Lu Changsheng naturally knew that Lu Miaoge wanted what was best for him, but he practiced the 100 Refinements treasure body art, and his body was comparable to a middle-grade magic artifact. To say he was as tough as iron was not an exaggeration. Watching her husband's appearance, Lu Miaoge's beautiful eyes brimmed with affection. She heaved a helpless sigh, knowing she had to take persuasion slowly. Her pearly teeth nibbled lightly on her tender lips, leaving a faint white mark as she nodded gently. Immediately thereafter, accompanied by the rustling sound of shedding garments, the two began their dual cultivation. Sister Miaoge, how do you feel? Is my tiger step like what is described in the books? Lu Changsheng spoke out loud. Even though Lu Miaoge was good-natured and as gentle as water, upon hearing this, she turned her face away and did not respond, ignoring him. After all, how could she respond to something like this? To this, Lu Changsheng did not mind and continued the dual cultivation, talking to himself. His way of speaking was simply to tease Lu Miaoge. Just like the novel he read in his previous life, where Ling Xiaodong conquered Zheng Yun, there was a process of conquest from body to heart. Even after marrying her, there still needed to be this gradual and cyclical process. About half an hour later, sentiments surged, and the dual cultivation came to an end as they embraced each other tightly, clinging together. Changsheng, it's time to rest. Lumai's face was flushed, her beautiful eyes showing a hint of seductiveness as they opened and closed. She breathed quickly, holding onto Lu Changsheng's neck tightly, her breath sweet as she spoke. Sister Miaoga, I don't quite understand the techniques of blowing the jade flute and koi-sucking water mentioned in the dual cultivation methods. Lu Changsheng, seeing the young mistress looking like this, gently caressed her sweaty, fair face and said, even though Lu Miaoga hadn't taken a close look at the dual cultivation methods during the day, she vaguely understood the meanings upon hearing his words. Her eyelashes trembled, and her beautiful forehead dropped slightly, not speaking. Seeing this, Lu Changsheng just smiled and held Lu Miaoga quietly. He hadn't thought that with just a word, Lu Miaoga would obey him. It still required a process, after all. After resting with Lu Miaoga for a while, Lu Changsheng then hurried on to his next engagement. After all, having multiple wives and concubines came with its own troubles. There was another young mistress waiting for his comfort. When Lu Changsheng arrived at Lu Miaohuan's room, the light was already out. But Lu Changsheng could feel that the second young mistress had not yet gone to bed. Lu Changsheng stood behind her, embracing the undulating, alluring body of his wife, together admiring the moon. A moment later, Lu Miaohuan bit her lip, her delicate and stunning face flushing with a rosy glow. The blush stretched to her exquisite earlobes, along the length of her swan-like neck, and her cool and proud demeanor could no longer be maintained. In a voice as faint as a mosquito's, she said to Lu Changsheng behind her, You better not ruin my clothes. Huan, when the time comes, I will buy you new ones. Lu Changsheng whispered softly. As noble and aloof as an iceberg, the second young mistress began to thaw and let herself be manipulated. Rip! Following the sound of tearing cloth was a series of whimpers that were at once resentful and longing, plaintive and complaining. Time flew, and in the blink of an eye, more than a month had passed. Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaohuan quickly integrated into the big Lu family. And just as Lu Changsheng had expected, seeing so many children in the courtyard, neither Lu Miaoga nor Lu Miaohuan had the heart not to have a few of their own. They both expressed a willingness to have children, but only one each. Lu Miaoga's reason was that she still needed to consider her cultivation, and she had to manage the affairs of the spiritual talisman shop. As for Lu Miaohuan, she was simply a bit scared of childbirth. Hearing this, Lu Changsheng naturally accommodated their wishes, and during this month, both Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaohuan became pregnant. For Lu Changsheng, this was a source of immense joy. One reason was that for the wives and concubines he loved, he indeed held a partial fondness for their children. He couldn't manage to be entirely equitable. Additionally, both Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaohuan had middle-grade spiritual roots, and he himself now had a 6th-grade spiritual root. Therefore, Lu Changsheng had some expectation for the children in the bellies of the two women. After Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaohuan became pregnant, Lu Yuanding came to visit, bringing many nutritional supplements. They included both his personal gifts and those representing the Lu family. Even though Lu Changsheng wasn't exactly short on money now, he naturally accepted the heartfelt gifts. At the same time, Lu Yuanding also told Lu Changsheng to take charge of the 9 Dragons marketplace. With the family crisis resolved, all external businesses naturally needed to be quickly revived and operational. Hearing this, Lu Changsheng naturally agreed, but mentioned that he still had some matters to attend to in the mortal world. After all, it had been a year and a half since he had visited his wives and children in the mortal world due to the series of events involving the Lu family. He also told Chu Jinjin about the true culprit behind the murder of her family and planned to take her to the mortal world to resolve the matter and pay respects to her parents. For this, Lu Changsheng truly felt he had not done enough. All these years, he had never taken Chu Xinjin home to pay tribute to her parents. Hearing this, Lu Yuanding didn't say much, only urging Lu Changsheng to make it quick. After all, they could hire someone to manage the shop. But due to the former hurried circumstances, the businesses had fallen behind. It was crucial to have one of their own take charge and swiftly restore operations. Immediately, Lu Changsheng, without delay, requested a flying boat from Lu Yuanding. Because this trip to the mortal world, he was not only taking Chu Xinjin with him, but he also planned to send some of the children to the mortal realm. Although he owned a flying boat, it was considered ill-gotten gains and might attract the attention of the Yu family. So, Lu Changsheng had no intention of using it publicly for the time being. For 300 family contribution points, Lu Yuanding approved a flying boat for Lu Changsheng. Immediately after, Lu Changsheng, accompanied by Chu Zhenjin and 6 children old enough to travel, set off for the mortal realm. Chapter 254. A 10-year pact, Revenge _1. The sky is clear for thousands of miles, and the azure is spotless. A flying boat slowly descended from the sky and landed outside of Rui County City. Lu Changsheng took out a transmission talisman and sent messages to Hong Yi and Li Feiyu. About a quarter of an hour later, Hong Yi and Li Feiyu hurried out from the city. Brother Hong, Feiyu. Lu Changsheng greeted the two men. He then introduced Chu Xinjin and the children to Hong Yi. After a brief introduction and exchange of greetings, Lu Changsheng asked Chu Xinjin to take the children onto a carriage and head into the city. Changsheng, I heard from Brother Hong that the Lu family has destroyed Red Leaf Valley. At this moment, Li Feiyu turned to Lu Changsheng and inquired. He had been closely following the events concerning Qingzhou Mountain and Red Leaf Valley. By now, after so much time had passed, he had also gathered news about the Lu family and the Chen family. Learning that the Lu family had obliterated the Chun family of Red Leaf Valley came as a tremendous shock, and he had no clue what was going on. That's correct. Lu Changsheng nodded. He did not conceal the truth. He briefly recounted the matters between the Lu family and the Chun family. At the same time, he asked Li Feiyu about his future plans, whether he intended to stay in the secular world or return to Qingzhou Mountain. He could tell that Li Feiyu's cultivation level was still at the 4th level energy refinement. In the secular world, even with the minor spirit gathering array he had set up, cultivation was exceedingly difficult. It was completely incomparable to cultivating in a place with a spiritual vein like Qingzhou Mountain. No, the children are much older now, and my parents can take care of them. I plan to finish out the year and then go to the cultivation world to try my luck and see if there's an opportunity, said Li Feiyu. His determination to pursue cultivation had never wavered. He knew that with his current circumstances, if he didn't take a leap of faith now, let alone foundation establishment, he'd have no chance of reaching the energy refinement late stage in this lifetime. Red Leaf Valley has been destroyed, and the Lu family, by family, Yu family, and Zheng family will establish a marketplace in Red Leaf Valley. Once the marketplace is completed and everything comes to life, it will be a decent place to go, Lu Changsheng spoke up. From what he knew, the Red Leaf marketplace would be completed in 1 or 2 years. Once it was built, to attract Lu's cultivators and businesses to settle there, the 4 major families would offer various favorable policies. During this phase, for Lu's cultivators, it would be a good time. If Li Feiyu were to go to Red Leaf Marketplace, he could also look after him to some extent. After all, venturing out to explore ancient ruins and secret realms, in his view, was still too dangerous. It was almost a sure path to death. But he also knew that for ordinary loose cultivators like Li Feiyu, the only way to make progress in cultivation was to take this one path. Okay, they'll consider it when the time comes, responded Li Feiyu after hearing this. Red Leaf Valley is going to have a marketplace. Upon hearing this, Hong Yi too was somewhat surprised, seeing a business opportunity. Yes, Brother Hong, if you're interested, you can go and have a look when the time comes. If you want to purchase a shop, I can also help make introductions, Lu Changshang said to Hong Yi. Now that his wives and children were settled in the secular world, and the Rui Marquis mansion was looking after them, he naturally wanted to return the favor. After the establishment of the Red Leaf Marketplace, the major families would release some of the shops and residences to be sold cheaply. If Hong Yi was interested, he could obtain a quota from the Liu family for him. Thank you, Brother Liu. I will discuss this matter with my father when I return home, expressed Hong Yi, his face lighting up with joy. He knew that the shops and dwellings available at the start of such a marketplace were not easy to get hold of. One needed to qualify. He didn't expect Lu Changsheng would actually offer to facilitate this for him. This made him inwardly marvel at Lu Changsheng's current status and position within the Liu family. He had never imagined that in just a short decade, the rural boy whom he had once overlooked would rise to such heights. He felt fortunate that his attitude had changed swiftly back then, and that he had established a good relationship with Lu Changsheng. Brother Liu, you asked me to investigate the mastermind behind the murder of your sister-in-law's family, and now they're being detained in the Marquis Mansion dungeon, said Hong Yi. Lu Changsheng looked at the carriage where Chu Zhenjin was present and nodded. From a previous letter from Hong Yi, he had already learned the details of the matter. As he had suspected, the cultivator was a parasitic cultivator. Because he practiced an energy drain technique, he served as a household protector in a small family, relying on draining energy from women for cultivation and directing people in the secular world to seek out girls with a spiritual root. Therefore, the incident involving Chu Zhenjin had unfolded. Bringing Chu Zhenjin with him on this trip was also to deal with this issue. All right, Brother Liu, you can get in touch with me when you're ready to come over. My father has also been wanting to meet you, Hong Yi added, nodding. Then, the three of them continued to chat casually, discussing recent events as well as matters related to the cultivation world. By the way, Brother Liu, do you stay in touch with Daoist Xiao, and Daoist Han? Hong Yi asked at that moment. I have corresponded with Hanlin a few times, but I have had little contact with Daoist Xiao and Daoist Xiao, replied Lu Changsheng as he shook his head. After their 3-year agreement, although they made another 10-year pact, 10 years was ultimately too long. A slight friendship from back then might not stand the test of time. And Lu Changsheng wasn't someone who particularly enjoyed social interactions. So for many years, he had only corresponded a few times with Hanlin. He learned that the other party had become an artifact refiner, and found out that Xianxia was taken as a disciple by a nascent soul immortal. Afterward, Lu Changsheng wrote a congratulatory letter to Xianxia, who replied briefly. Then there was no further interaction. I, on the other hand, correspond frequently with the three of them. Hong Yi began to speak. His personality differed from Lu Changsheng's. Upon returning to the secular world, he maintained active communication with others. He also constantly endeavored to sustain this network connections. He then shared the recent situations of the three individuals. You're tuning in to the Eternal Immortal Ballad YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.